Good morning and welcome to Tottenham Tantrum Gold in the morning, so coffee morning as we would say. Nice to have Ben back in his shop in the morning for a nice little backdrop. Coffee machines on the go, Ben.
How's everyone today?
Good here, thanks. Good here, thanks. Also joining us again, almost becoming a regular again. It's Big Dog Phil Lattis from his Hollywood lifestyle. Glad you could join us for once, mate.
Yeah, well, my time in the big smoke in the big land is it was good to be on there, good to see the setup, but glad to be home on the channel.
The chase for Adele goes on, mate.
It's a new year. I haven't had my stalker injunction yet, so here it keeps going.
Right, we're going to be looking at a game from November 1991 as Tottenham play Luton Town. We've done a lot of Chelsea footage recently, so we thought we'd go for somebody on the equal ability now. So anyway, we'll come to that in a minute. I'll just get the show running. And I think I'll get straight onto the show then, to the actual match.
Okay. Good morning to Philip Brady. Philip Brady joining us in. So good morning to you, sir. Happy New Year. Hope all is well. And we have John Fitzpatrick. Big up to all. And then we have an interesting question from Big Dog, just to get the channel starting. What's your favourite comedy of all time? As a comedy TV program, I think Phil means there.
Comedy TV program is probably going to be your constantly changing names.
Oh, that's a difficult one.
Well, comedy for me personally, Fawlty Towers was the funniest ever. But my favourite is going to be Red Dwarf.
Morning, Carl. Red Dwarf. For me, that did start. The first two seasons were absolutely bad. We spoke a little bit the other day, didn't we, about Queeg, when it's like, this is April, May, June, July, fall. This is Jape of the century. It's just the two of them there going, what? It's that what it Pawn to King Bish 1 or whatever it's just when they were playing. Oh dear!
Playing for control of the ship for Holly, yeah.
So, Philip Brady, Father Ted.
Oh yeah, another brilliant show.
Yeah, it is. For me, it's got to be Dad's Army. I just love Dad's Army too much. I mean, it showed the absolute genius of David Croft, with the brilliant actors that are the Captain Mannering, Arthur Lowe, and John Lemaitre, however you pronounce his name. It was just end to end, amazing stuff. Like just that constant gaffes, constantly falling over. It's just brilliant.
That fits in with the classics theme of this show. That's for sure.
Yeah, it does.
Steptoe and Son coming in. I mean, who would I put in there? For me,
Rising Damp as well. That was another.
Yeah, no, I
used to get cracked up by that. Leonard Rossiter was just brilliant.
Might as well get it over and done with. Del Boy.
Yeah,
Del Boy.
Yeah.
That just got. To be honest, if you watch the early episodes now, they were good, but they weren't great. As they moved on, once they introduced Cassandra and it went to a little bit longer episode, those 12 episodes they did were just the funniest ones possible. I mean, the holiday one, when he wins the competition and he joins the Groovy Gang. Oh, it's just, honestly, comedy gold. Right, what else we got? Morning to Wayne Bonner.
I was going to say with
obviously Wayne Bonner's in the house. Good of you to join us, Wayne. Oh, Phil Brady's come out with a classic TV comedy. Arsenal Fan TV.
Yeah, that's true. That's real slapstick.
Yeah.
I mean, the Wenger out days was some of the most brilliant days. You really could just sit there all day watching that.
Absolutely.
R.I.P. to Claude.
What I also
R.I.P.
liked about Only Fools and Horses is even when it suddenly had those little serious, little emotional moments, you're so invested in it that it's still prime viewing. Amazing program. It's an institution, really, isn't it, rather than just a comedy series?
Yeah, and he was another, wasn't he? Brilliant writer, John Sullivan.
Absolutely.
Unreal.
I mean, the episode when they were in Florida and everyone thought he was the gangster.
Yeah.
It's just, and just kept on surviving. Just kept on coming back.
Yeah, Wayne, Del Boy and Rodders as Batman and Robin. I just remember the start of that Batman and Robin when Del Boy's going, I think we got petrol leaking out of the engine and he can't see. So he sets his lighter on and he's like looking for a fuel leak. And you're just like, jeez, it's just comedy gold.
Certainly is.
Carl, like what I think a solid comment there. Can't believe there was so little. But do you think having only the 12 made it better? Because you were forever wanting more.
Yeah, John Cleese said they had more stuff written, but they wanted to keep it perfect. They thought if they dragged it on any longer, it would ruin it.
Yeah, and there's a good point to that, isn't there? Because sometimes that does happen. Keep coming back. You want more. So when they did Only Fools and Horses is a classic. The last three after they won the money. They were good, but they weren't for me, they weren't great. And it was just like, did we need that? Should it have just stopped there with them walking away?
Oh, it goes back to the current show, The Big Bang Theory. Everyone loved The Big Bang Theory for like the first 11 seasons. But then the subsequent 12 seasons after that, it just dragged on and on and on and on.
Are there really that many?
And on. Yeah, it's like 24 seasons of it.
The only thing with that Only Fools and Horses, it did bring that one of the best lines ever when Del Boy's there. So they've obviously lost all their money, and he goes, "Don't worry, Rodney. This time next year we'll be millionaires." And he pipes up and he goes, "Next year, this time last week we were millionaires." You're just like, frigate.
But that was a show that show could have gone on for like 90 million seasons and it would not have, because the writing was just so good.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between having a good writer and not having a good writer.
Well, what they said with that is that they always wanted to do an episode where Del Boy basically retired, so he became 65, but unfortunately. But the other thing with Only Fools and Horses is you'll see I'm a big advocate. Yes, it's centered around the two of them, but how many characters drop in and out? Sometimes just for a small bit, sometimes for a long time, but they all add a significant value, even though it's small. And the classic for that, Trigger and Boise. They're nowhere near in every episode, but every time they come in, you can all say your favourite Trigger moments, can't you?
Absolutely. And the fact that Boise and Marlene were their own spin-off series.
Yeah.
How popular they were. Was it Green Grass or something like that?
Green Grass, yeah.
Yeah.
Just Morning to Mark Cousins, Best Comedy, Young Ones, Bottom, and anything with Rick Mail and Aid Edmondson.
Yeah, it's hard to argue against as well.
Yeah.
Especially Bottom live. That was just some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen. It's too late to go for a live show on that, but even online, you look at Bottom live, going off script, something like that. There's some scenes between the two of them where they're ad-libbing, where one of them's forgotten the lines, and it's some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen. Wow. Absolutely crying with laughter. And the two of them are as well, while they're live on stage doing their routine. It's just brilliant. Total breakdown. Audience gets involved in everything. So funny. Carl Simpson, Only Fools and Horses, when Rodney won that art competition, but Del didn't tell him he was 50.
And then you got this one. Yeah, I remember that. If I'm honest, that one where, because Raquel gives birth is the funniest episode. And he's like, "What is it? It's a baby. Is it a boy or a girl? It's a little." Oh, hang on, I'll go and find out. And Rodney's already said. He's like, "What about the sex?" And Del Boy's like, "Give her time, Rodney. Give her time." And this is probably the best comment ever.
Yeah.
If it's a girl, we're going to call it Sigourney after an actress, and if it's a boy, we're going to call it Rodney after Dave. Trigger same broom.
Yeah.
Well, here's a picture of it. What more evidence do you need? Bottom Live is brilliant. Yeah, Young Ones is a classic. Love Bambi. Oh yeah, they did. They end up on University Challenge, don't they?
That's right.
So I'm going to bring in Mrs. Brown's Boys. I was late to the party on that one, but another one when you're talking about people that ad lib on stage, and Brendan O'Carroll, you can just see the rest of it'll suddenly ask a question, and you can see them. The rest of them, they're looking and going, "This ain't in the script. What's going on? What's going on?"
I mean, that's a show that's going to age very well. I mean, a lot of people don't like it, but I think that amount of people is going down very slowly.
Yeah, when I spoke to my dad and my brother over Christmas, and they're like, "It's just a guy in drag," and you're like, "No, it's not. No, it's not. It's brilliant comedy writing. The fact that it's live, and they obviously film it live, so if there's errors, half of them just get left in and stuff. They're always trying to stitch each other up. So Dermot always comes in and he's got some costume on, and whatever it is, he's doing a proper tongue twister, and he'll get through it, and everyone will be like, "Sorry, what was that?" And you can just see him like, "Oh, you buggers!" But great, and we've got that must be Dermot.
It is Dermot. He said he he'd be on in a few minutes.
All right. Morning, Dermot.
I'll just quickly take while I've got a chance. Thank you again to Simon at Duck Jive 1 for the use of the video we're watching. If you want to see it with the original commentary, please get over to his channel. It's in the link at the bottom here. And he's got loads of Spurs games, all kinds of eras, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s especially, and a lot of England games as well. So, like I said, if you want to sit with the original commentary, please head over, give him a like and a subscribe. It's a really, really good channel to have on your list.
Grand.
And onward.
If we could do our standard, and if we could ask you all to like and subscribe to the channel, that would be amazing. Thanking you.
I mean, back to comedy. Another show that only lasted 2 seasons, but it's growing every single time I watch it, is The Thin Blue Line. I'm a massive fan of that show. I'm not a massive fan of Ben Elton, but he hit the nail on the head when he wrote that show. Only 2 seasons, and it's just brilliant. The sort of the nuances, the wokeism that's in it, and it's just like, that was woke when that was like out there, and now that's just like a lot of the stuff that's in there now. It's like normal now.
I always look at that, and I almost think of that as Blackadder season 5.
Yeah,
it's that. But the guy, I don't know the guy's name. The guy he's slightly balding, but he was obviously the detective.
Inspector Grimm. He's brilliant. He's utterly brilliant.
This, what? Don't go out there with this namby-pamby. And I can't remember anything else. I just remember him having a rant, and then he's like,
namby-pamby, hoity-toity, fanny about.
Yeah. I only watched a few minutes of one of those, and I didn't get into it. But if you say it's like Blackadder 5, I'm definitely going to go.
You've got to watch it. You've got to watch it, especially the episode with the football match in it. It's utterly brilliant.
Well, Ben Elton's one of those people. I don't like his stand-up, but I love the stuff he writes.
Yeah, because he wrote The Young Ones, wrote Blackadder, so he's got a little bit of talent in there, isn't he?
Well, it's like Peter Kay as well. Can't stand him as stand-up.
No, I don't like him.
But the
I
stuff
really
he
love
writes,
Peter Kay.
Phoenix Night's brilliant.
Yeah, I love Peter Kay.
Didn't Ben Elton also write We Will Rock You, the musical?
Yes.
Yeah, thought he did. Mark Cousins. Mrs. Brown's Boys is just a rip of Father Ted, which in his opinion is funnier. Never really watched much of Father Ted, but I just love Mrs. Brown. I mean, even so much, I'm going to see the live stage show down in Bournemouth in June, so I literally can't wait. Seen it once before, and he proper stitches them up. So somebody will be leaving stage, and and they'll be like, oh, Dermot, before you go, and you can see him just turn around going, oh, shoot, this isn't in the script. what is coming? What is coming? Wayne Bonner with the British Empire. Now, I never watched that. Did either of you two watch that?
I've never watched that.
I wasn't too keen. It's because I suppose it's because I was such a Red Dwarf fan. I could see as soon as I saw Chris Barry, it's like, what's happened to the agent before?
He's not Rimmer.
Yeah, there's similarities in a lot of ways, but not. It's not quite the same. I thought it was a little bit too forced for me. It didn't quite work. Bits of it were funny though. That's certainly.
What was the best season then of Blackadder?
I like the fourth season
Yeah,
because I'm very interested in a lot of war stuff. It's just right up my alley.
For me, it's the second season with Queenie.
Yeah, second season's brilliant as well.
For me, they just as I hated season 1, but 2, 3, 4 I loved. But for me, I'm with Ben. They just got better. I loved Queenie. The best bit about Queenie was the nanny, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When they're saying, so what's your real name then? She's like, Bernard. Just like, what? But yeah, I loved season 2. Loved 3.
And Stephen Fry totally pandering to the Queen at all times. Like,
Yeah.
No matter what, such a big creep. The competition he'd have with Blackadder about gifts and anything that happened, that he'd have to have this one-upmanship on it. It was always brilliant. And I just remember this one in particular. Queenie had sent Columbus around, to go around, Walter Riley around the world, doing this great seafaring adventure. And Blackadder goes off to try and match that as well and impress the Queen. Meanwhile, he goes back to the palace and Queenie's there with a patch over her eye, pretending to be like a sailor. And she's just as in a normal voice, ahoy there. And things like that. And then Stephen Fry comes in. He's looking around after uncovering his eyes. He's looking around, and she goes, "What is it?" The Queenie's going, "What is it?" And he goes, I was looking for this hearty sea dog that eluded me as I came in." Oh dear, it was just so.
I mean,
funny.
Melchi was brilliant in fourth season. I mean, just the court scene with the plump-breasted pigeon. I'm going to call Melchi. Yes, that's my turn. And just gets up and it walks over.
And that the business with Captain Darling every time, innit? All right, darling. It's just like. But I tell you what, we obviously can't talk about season 4 without the end of it.
The end of it is that.
How heartbreaking a finish into a comedy is that? If ever there's something that makes you stop in your tracks and go, oh my God, it's the end of that comedy, isn't it?
Yeah, and it showed how real it was as well. It was brilliant.
They were going to make a Star Adder, weren't they? The 5th series, but don't know if anything actually came of it in the end.
They did a time traveling episode when I went to Millennium Dome. I don't know if you went to that, Ben.
I did. Sniff my skids.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Oh, let's put the team up for this game as well.
I'll tell you what, BBC certainly lead the way with comedy, don't they?
Yeah, certainly do.
Yeah.
I mean, here's another good question. Name a good comedy from ITV.
Oh.
Yeah.
Benny Hill.
Okay.
It's the only one, I think.
Now, I suppose you have got on the buses, Love Thy Neighbour, but Love Thy Neighbour now would be, well, it was wrong at the time, but it wouldn't even get airplay now, would it?
No, of course not.
But those are two. Do you remember the Piglet Files with Rodney? Don't know what that was. Oh, actually, we did talk. Did anyone watch Good Night, Sweetheart?
No, it's not.
A
lot of the stuff is before my time anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff is before my time, but there's just the classics that are just all BBC. Like, Open All Hours, BBC.
Ben's been brought up properly. Didn't see all this live at the time, but his parents had to show him all the classics. So that's why he knows his stuff from Spurs back in the day, and all these classics we start talking about, and Ben knows them all because he's been watching them all the way through his upbringing. I think it's brilliant.
I didn't listen to pop music until 2003. That shows like that. Whenever we went in a car anywhere, it was just all Dire Straits. It was all Queen. It was all Elton John. It was like there was no modern music at all because it just like we just didn't listen to it.
Wayne Bonner loves Rick Mayall's character in Blackadder. Yeah. Wayne Bonner, please sir, mind your language. And then Monty Python. I never liked Monty Python. I don't know what you guys thought.
Those are my two favourite comedy films: the Holy Grail and The Life of Brian. Because me being a very biased Jewish bloke, those two movies are just all Jewish comedy, like all tongue in cheek, all irony, all making fun of themselves. It's just like it's brilliant. Like even just like the peasant scene, it's like it's just like you didn't ask me what my name is. So just because a tart gave you a sword doesn't give you what's it called? Oh, what's the quote? Oh fuck. A sword giving you a tart is not a mandate.
Apologies for the language there, guys.
It's a quote though, so you're allowed that.
Fair enough. Wayne Bonner saying, like Mrs. Bouquet from Hyacinth Bouquet from Keeping Up Appearances. That was quite amusing, I must admit.
Yeah, I couldn't get into that. Wayne, yeah, the Good Life, yes. To the Manor Born. I do remember watching it, but it had a massive TV audience when it was out, didn't it? To the Manor Born. It was
who was it had a thing for Penelope Keith? Was it you, Phil?
Oh, I said I'd have picked her from her character in The Good Life, because she was just so stuck up. She was. Yeah.
But still eager to join in and be a good neighbour. That's what made it so good. Helping out in the farm with some marigolds.
Mr. Bean's an ITV one.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Love Mr. Bean.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That's the something. One. It's just the one.
I mean, we haven't even... Oh, Father Ted and... Yeah, wait, Mrs. Bouquet, her poor husband. Yeah. Tell you what we haven't mentioned, Men Behaving Badly, which hasn't aged well, but was definitely okay at the time. And
One Foot in a Grave, we haven't mentioned.
Yeah, oh... I love. There's one episode I watched with him, and he's got a salesman in his lounge, and the guy's like, he said, "I'm very sorry, Mr. Meldrew. I've done 3 hours now. I now need to be moving on to my next client. Would you like to take up the deal?" And he goes, "Yep." He goes, "Sign here," and he signs on the form exactly. And he basically turns around and he's like, "You gave me road rage the other day, and this is exactly what you said." And he went, "Are you telling me you sat me here for 3 hours as revenge for what I said?" And Meldrew's like, "Yep." And it's just like, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I mean, the two things that sum up One Foot in a Grave is one, the dog phone when the phone rings, he picks up is a dash hound.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing here? Bugger off.
Morning, Graham. He's saying, Mr. Bean. Yeah, it's always a good shout. Mr. Bean is genuinely funny, for sure.
The car blokes singing on the radio when they're in traffic.
Yeah.
It's just...
And the guy winds his window up, doesn't he? And he's giving him the finger as the window goes up. Oh, forgot that one. Some mothers do have them.
Oh, that is going back a while now, but yeah, that was really funny as well. Michael Crawford doing his own stunt.
Watching that, Coov, weren't we? But that was proper schoolboy humour, wasn't it?
And Michael Crawford doing all of his own stunts as well. Yeah. That was the really impressive bit, because some of those were bloody dangerous.
Yeah, that one when he does it's the roller skating, isn't it? Because didn't he broke his arm doing that, didn't he?
Yeah. The standard comedy. Great stuff of hospital bed out of control and rolling at high speed down slopes. Yeah. What else? They're hoisted way above the ground, dressed up in the nativity play as an angel.
Yeah. Coov, give me 2 secs. I've just got to pop and do something.
No worries, mate. Sorry. Let's see. Oh, it's Brian. Brian's contacting him about something. Keeping up appearances. Poor husband. Yeah, got that one. Some others do have them. Yeah. Is that one that you got played to you, Ben?
No, that's not one I had played to me. It doesn't ring a bell.
Nah, not sorry. I don't think it will have aged very well, but I suppose it's one you appreciated at the time. Like I said, doing his own stunts and everything. It was just crazy madcap scenes.
Yeah.
I don't know what it would look like now to somebody who's not seen it before. Carl Bonner saying to Carl Simpson, "That's a great shout. Love Frank Spencer. I'm a man." Oh yeah, what was that on? What was that? I remember that. I'm trying to think which episode it was from. True Touch 3, good to see you again, mate. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Michael Scott, American Office.
The American Office just doesn't do it for me. It just doesn't do it.
I've not watched it at all. I mean,
it's just not it.
Obviously know the lead actor in it from other films, but
Evan Almighty, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, what summed up how brilliant the British Office was just the dancing scene, and he's just dancing there doing the sound effects, and everyone's just staring at him.
So cringeworthy. It really
it's
was.
So funny.
Yeah.
I can't.
I love the fact there's no canned laughter as well, so you get genuine laughs. Right? Carl Simpson loved it. Wayne never got old. That's about the Frank Spencer stuff. Really. You think it would age well?
We've got a special guest to bring on, guys. I'm going to introduce the man, the legend, Mr. Dermot. How you doing, Dermot?
What are you talking about? I'm just
expecting Dermot from Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Back off.
Language.
And also, can I also say about some others do happen? I loved it when you went, Pepe, I'm going to do something now, Pepe.
That's true.
Yeah. How we did that. Right, I've got a little bit of breaking news here. Well, it's not breaking news, but I've got it late last night. Well, actually, I got it last night while you were doing the Tottenham and Torfield. Okay. And I actually got it when I was actually with you, Phil, on YouTube on the meeting room. There has been a bit of a holy row in Tottenham last night and this morning and the last few days between Paratici and Mr. Conte over certain signings.
Do you know what? I'm going to bet that's Traore because all reports say Paratici likes. Oh, okay.
I've actually heard this news.
It's as far as I know, the Conte wants McKenna, Paratici wants Kulusevski.
Kulusevski, yeah.
Yeah. Now, who in the chat, as I thought with you two, who do you prefer out them to?
Whatever Conte wants, Conte must have.
Yeah.
Ben?
Don't care who it is.
We all come up with this not coward's approach, but I want Mbappe. But if Conte says I don't want Mbappe and I want Vlahovic, I would absolutely trust in Conte because without him, we're not doing. The players come for him, and he has to pick what he knows. So if he picks a player because they run in a certain way, they play in a certain way, he can adapt them in a certain way. That has to be. Otherwise, it feels that it's fantasy football. That's what it feels like.
I just want to say good morning to Carl and morning Wayne Bonner. Thank you very much. Great time.
Yeah.
I mean, with
I apologise for being late this morning.
Carl Simpson's got there. You are. Carl Simpson. He's nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. I can solve the argument. Let's have both. Ta-da! Brilliant, Carl.
Kulusevski's an attacking player.
And also, can I thank... Sorry, Ben, I just personally want to thank True Sets for his donation. No, thank you.
Oh. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for that last night. I did tell Cooper, was there when I got it. It's very a lot, but thank you so much indeed. You're very kind with your
very generous.
With that thing I can't get my teeth around.
What
You know, I won't be
Do you know
able
what?
to
There's so
speak
many rude
next.
comments there, so let's move on very quickly before me and Kuba start.
What with the nation?
Wayne Bonner, absolutely. The manager should always have final say on what players come in. It's his team.
Yeah, I have the final say. I'm manager in here. Big Daddy's out. No, he's not. He's back in again.
True Sets You Free is. Sorry. I'm just going to click on something because I've got some breaking news on. Sorry, bear with me.
We're all breaking news this morning, aren't we?
There's a report from Football London. Tottenham's appeal over UEFA's decision toward Rennes it's still with the club's lawyers for consideration. Football London understands.
Yeah. Okay.
So there you go. So it's not as yet. It's not all over.
I just take it. We don't need the competition.
Right, can I have my say in that before we get to John Fitzpatrick? Well, do the comments first, and then I'll have my say in that. Then go on first.
So John Fitzpatrick, morning, Dermot. Let's go around.
And we have another guest to come in a minute as well.
I'll do these three comments, then I'll bring Mr. Sean in. So we have John Fitzpatrick, Dermot. When are you giving us your Spurs Irish 11? Oh, John.
I'm giving you that the night we do our watch along against Chelsea. I'll do that in the build-up.
Okay. Well, so Wednesday night.
Pressure's on.
Okay. So if Dermot's manager, who's the chairman?
Right. If I was manager of Tottenham, this is my backroom staff. I would have Kuba as chairman. I would have Ben as the hitman.
Okay.
And I'll have Phil as my assistant manager. And Shawnee Boy, who's coming on, he'll be in charge of finance.
I was going to say he's a financial. He's there to be ridiculed as the finance director. So
I would have a split. I'll have a split into two. I would have Cooper as chairman of the football side, and I'll have Sean as chairman on the business side.
See, I'd have Ben as director of football because he'll argue anybody into submission. We'll get some fair deals.
Yeah. Okay, then. All right, I'll change it around. Ben, you're director of football, and Cooper, you're my hitman.
All right. True Sets Free says anytime, St. Dermot. Thank you, Truth. Thank you. And morning from Simon.
Morning, Simon. Thank you for joining us.
What match are we watching?
Tottenham Luton, currently 0-0.
It's from 1991. We pretty much used the Chelsea footage that was relevant for the time. So I thought, well, the way Chelsea are playing at the moment, let's put on somebody of equal skill.
Can I just say, I worked in Luton for 10 years, right? And I went to Luton. Luton's the biggest dump going. It was the biggest Irish community at one point. But now they called Luton now Little India. That's what they call it now. It's a Little India or Little Pakistan now. But Luton is a horrible place. It really is. No offense to Luton.
Okay.
My uncle lives there as well. So
it's not a nice place, is it, Ben?
Even more reason for me to call it a dump.
Yeah, it is really, isn't it? I'm not lying, am I? It really is
a horrible part of the world.
It is.
Better clarify that that's not really the reason why it's a dump. It just happens.
No.
It comes across very badly, mate.
Yeah.
Shoreditch was a dump in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, and now.
Should I bring Shawnee Boy on?
I was just saying, should we bring Mr. Sean on?
Yeah.
Here you go. Oh, hang on. There we go.
Morning, Sean.
Morning, Sean.
Morning, one and all. How are we?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm feeling better. Feeling better. 2 days off, and a lot of sleep, a lot of water, and lots of
chicken soup.
Feeling sorry for myself. Yeah, but
got to say that is a grade A Tottenham Tantrum salute you've got going on there, mate.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, very formal that one.
Yeah, I'm trying to create something, trying to get a
all
routine.
A bit worried about your hair on TTG.
I know. I got all these text messages from you guys over the last couple of days. I don't think my dad even texted me like a fraction of the amount of times as you guys did. So it means the world. It means the world to know that you thought about me. I appreciate it.
We got your back.
And can I say you did a fantastic job on the watch along on David's channel? Absolutely brilliant, sir.
Oh,
First
that was horribly contentious, wasn't it? I was feeling very ropey as the game went on, because I wasn't actually doing on. Thank you for the kind words, though, David. But as the game was going on my own streams, I couldn't get a correct feed with them. And then when I turned back onto theirs, I was obviously really pissed off with the performance, and then decided to try and have a debate with them. But it was difficult to when three people interrupt you like intermittently, and you're trying to get your point across, it becomes very frustrating. And then my mood was horrendous anyway, so I ended up snapping and getting nasty, and it wasn't my best moment. So
that wasn't just one way, mate. It was getting a bit heated there.
Yeah.
Marcello, I love Marcello, but he's quite fiery when he's feels he's on point. He won't let it go either.
It doesn't matter. It's one of those things that.
We'll invite you onto our watch along this Wednesday for the Chelsea match if you'd like to come along with us.
I appreciate that, mate. I actually because commentary is my dream job, and I like doing it on my own thing where I can just go wild and things. So I'd love to pivot in at half time and stuff, but I'm gonna I'd like to do the I tried to do commentary on. Well, I tried to do a watch along before, and when there's like 2 or 3 people on, it's difficult to know who's speaking, who's talking, and
this one's a little bit different, isn't it, guys? We've done it in the background, the 3 of us, so it's a bit different. It's like 3 men down the pub, really, isn't it, lads?
Yeah.
Phil, I thought you did a fantastic job, mate, on We Are Tottenham TV. Very impressed, buddy. Did you enjoy the moment?
Yeah, it was good. It's very nerve-wracking when you first start off, because you know, like, obviously we're a channel that prides ourselves on bringing up people's comments, and there was a point where we kind of said, where is everyone watching? Where are you? And you were literally watching this screen. It literally is going at a rate of knots. I'm trying to think of some of the countries that we saw in there. So you had Australia, Vietnam, Korea, China, Sweden, Italy, USA, Canada.
Wow.
And when you're looking at it and you're like, it's totally global. Mexico was in there, and you're thinking all these people are watching me and Brian talk about something that we're watching, and it's absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
And I guess the audience was slightly higher because obviously the game wasn't on anywhere.
Yeah.
So there was only kind of one outlet. But I've had a look as well. I haven't watched it because I don't want to watch myself, but I've had a look to see how many times it's been viewed. But yesterday it had been viewed 65,000 times. I'm thinking, when I put that into perspective, that's more than everybody at the next home game watching it.
Yeah. Yeah, mate, it's insane, mate. But listen, don't be afraid to watch yourself back, mate, because I thought you did a really great job. I know you had a couple of other days when you were in there, so it probably wasn't your first rodeo in the studio, right? You did it the day before or whatever, but I thought you did really well.
I think, if anything, you were looking too good, Phil. I was getting quite angry about it.
Yeah. We wanted gaffs.
Yeah.
Right.
In true Tottenham Tantrum Gold spirit. Gaffs every 5 minutes.
Yeah. There was so much of a point where, and I'm going to ask you the question, but like the first question I put in there this morning is, what's the best comedy of all time? And I wanted to do something silly like that, but that's definitely unique to our channel, where we're like, I don't know if you saw yesterday's, but we were doing hottest cartoon character, so we need your answer on that, and best British comedy. So if I can go with those 2 for you first.
First of all, I think we should settle the most important one of the lot, which was who's hotter out of Wilma Flintstone or Betty Rubble?
Betty Rubble.
Well, I'd be more attracted, if I was in cartoon format, I'd be more attracted to I think I'd be more attracted to Betty, because I gravitated more towards Barney, and so I feel like me and Barney would have more fun down the pub than Fred, so I'd probably appreciate his taste in women more as well.
Betty's just smoking hot.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
We'll do the next one while we're at marks out of 10 for Sue from City and Sweep. Honestly, we're absolutely cutting edge. But
well, the good thing about Sue from City Sweep is that she doesn't like a good finger.
I would like to point out this has nothing to do with me whatsoever.
No,
I just
it
wanted
doesn't.
to do an old football channel. These two Phil has hijacked it into gutter level.
No, I thought it was good. And to be honest, in terms of best cartoon, is it outrageous to say Jessica Rabbit?
Yeah,
No, it's Lola Bunny.
You'd be an
100%. It's
elusive
Lola
company
Bunny.
there.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Lola
Jessica-
Bunny's the one.
I suppose nobody's asked me about Betty or Wilma.
Well, you said it was all gutter level now. Is there any
Yeah.
point?
Yeah, you want to come down to the gutter?
Yeah, I will. I enjoy being down
Come
there.
on in,
That
the
didn't
water's
take long.
lovely.
Carl Simpson's Betty for Carl, but overall Jessica Rabbit.
Yes, Rabbit, yeah.
It's got to be Lola Bunny. It's got to be.
I think
I was about to
this
say
is
that,
called
Ben.
taking the high plunge.
But
Right
Lola
for the
Bunny
big-
from the original Space Jam, not the shit they released last year.
I don't know who
Excuse my
Lola Bunny is. That what it's
Lola Bunny.
Let me check her out.
And Wayne Bonner, the hottest character, was brilliant. It's still Velma. Yeah. Scooby Doo. Looking
Yeah.
good.
Oh,
Not
Lola
so-
Bunny,
I'm
yeah.
I'm a Betty Rubble instead of Wilma Wobble. I can't speak this morning. Then.
Betty and Wilma, same answer to Conte, both of them.
I
was
thought
something-
you would have. Yeah, I thought Dermot would have been a Wilma Flintstone.
No,
man, because she's a redhead.
No, I like a bit of Betty.
There was always a little something about Marge Simpson when she had her hair down.
Absolutely.
She suddenly became a little bit like when she had her hair up, she was just a mum. But when she had her hair down, or Edna Krabappel, to be honest, because she was a school teacher, there was a little bit of a fantasy that you could play out there if you were a cartoon
R.I.P.
child.
I don't know why it was said R.I.P. for a cartoon character, but
Yeah, it's true. And best ever comedy, was it? Best British comedy?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the easiest answer in the world ever.
Don't mean to change the subject. Was this game with the lights went out when we had the power cut?
I don't know, to be honest, mate. It might be.
There was one game we played Luton when we had a power cut halfway through, and I'm not sure what season it was.
just like Luton Spirit.
Wasn't it? Oh,
So
wasn't
I'm
it
just
when
going
they...
to chuck in for another character. I'm going to go Sheila. And Sheila was the invisible thief in Dungeons and Dragons.
I thought you were going to say Shearer at VMAT.
Sheila, she was.
One that's a bit too modern for you guys is the mayor's assistant in the Powerpuff Girls. Is that too
idea.
modern for you, the Powerpuff Girls?
Go on, Phil. Let's degrade ourselves again. Let's get out the bacon bowl. Come on. I'll put it up there. Let's get out the bacon bowl. Phil.
Oh, sorry. We have. On our page we have a donations page, and we're not saying that you have to, but anything that we do receive is we use to pump back into the channel and trying to improve our content, which, as you can probably hear from the first 43 minutes of today, we do need a lot of work on that part, but that's what we do. We want to try and get some guests on and just look at just improving the overall concept of Tottenham Tantrum Gold. So
Does it
to
cost
everybody
money?
that has, we would thank you. But yeah,
Depends on the
thank you very
game,
much, guys.
Johnny.
But does
It
it
depends
also
on the
cost money
game.
to get, when you said to get guests on, like, do certain guests want to get paid for a slice today, like ex-football players or whatever?
Yeah, some of them do.
Do they?
Yeah.
Do you mind me asking what the going rate is for Dean Austin or for Eric Torstfit or a Stuart Nethercott? Do you know these things, or is this things we can't talk about on the live stream?
Not right to discuss it on air, I don't
Yeah,
think.
fair enough.
But I put it in the private chat for you, Sean. I know
Okay,
how
yeah,
much
yeah.
one.
Yeah,
I know
I'm
how
curious.
much one. I know how much one player cost.
But
The
don't
best
spoil
comedy-
it. Don't
Best
spoil
comedy
it.
of all time has to be Only Fools and Horses. Every time I'm bored, I stick it on, or if I feel unhappy.
Yeah.
Like the last couple of days when I've been sick, Only Fools and Horses has been on UK Gold pretty much on loop, because every single,
Right.
no matter how many times you see it, it's the funniest program on telly.
I've got a question for Only Fools and Horses, and I would love to know what you think. Granddad or Uncle Albert?
Uncle Albert.
Uncle
Okay.
Albert.
I'd start with Cooper,
Oh.
and then I go up. Go on, Pip, which one?
I thought they're both fantastic, but in different ways. Grandad had that pure innocence about him that was so fantastic at times. And Uncle Albert, it was always the war stories. It was absolute killer. I think Uncle Albert has to edge it.
Yeah. Sean?
Well, I'd say Uncle Albert, but I do think the funniest line that either of those characters ever said was when Rodney was dating the older woman whose husband was banged up for murder, and Del Boy goes to Rodney, "Well, I mean, how old is this bird then? Go on, how old is it?" And he goes, "About 30." He's like, "What do you mean about 30? How old is she exactly? 40?" And then Del Boy's like, 40? 40? Wow! And Rodney goes, "What's wrong with going out with a woman of 40?" He goes, nothing at all if you happen to be 50. She's even too old for me, Rodney. And then Grandpa chimes in with, "Well, I'd have to think twice." Funniest line, for sure.
I think my funniest line is when Rodney goes into partnership with Mickey Pearce, and apparently he's took the money Mickey Pearce has gone to Spain, and Rodney's saying that they've gone into holiday homes in Spain. And Dale saying, "What, on 200 nicker? What have you started?" And Grandad said, "Wendy House."
Yeah, I think he had some of the funnier lines, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I've got to bring up, before we do anything else, I've got to bring up Wayne comment.
Yeah, that's
Uncle Albert for mixing up the coffee with Wayne. And Del Boy's there, he goes, "Not only have you sunk or destroyed every battleship that you've ever been in, now you've got a knackered the gravy boat."
Yeah, fantastic.
I think the best one for me, and it's still the funny, is either the chandelier or him falling at the bar.
Yeah. Both of those, classic, iconic moments.
I mean, we're in here, Trig. We're in here.
I mean, my favourite moment is the Trivial Pursuit game in the Jolly Boys outing.
Oh,
and he's trying to, he's like telling him what's a female swan, and Rodney's just tapping on the thing with his pen. He goes, "Ah!"
He's doing this, isn't he? He's like,
"It's a bick."
I tell you one thing, that the first two series of Holyfield and Horses weren't really popular. And they took it off air for a year, and then they brought it back again and started at the beginning, and it just took off.
It basically came back because there was a BBC strike, so they had nothing. So they repeated it very quickly. But without doubt, without that chandelier, Only Fools and Horses would have gone. It would have gone down in history as a flop.
But Del Boy wasn't supposed to play Del Boy, was it? Or David Jason wasn't supposed to play.
The guy that ended up playing, sorry, I can't think of his name, but the guy who played, oh God, who was the copper?
Slater.
Him. The guy that played Bridget Jones's dad in the movie. I can't think of his name now. He was originally, David Jason was third choice.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have been the same show. No chance.
No, and what's his name? John Sullivan actually backed for David Jason.
John Sullivan should get a knighthood for like posthumously or whatever the word would be.
Good morning, just very quickly, sorry, Sean. Good morning, Cody Mack. I think he was saying good morning to you as well, Cody.
Yeah. Jim Broadbent, that's him. Thank you, Wayne. Yeah, Jim Broadbent he was Slater, but he was originally and we're one down.
Boo!
But yeah,
if this is the 91-92 season, we had a horrendous home form this year. I think we only won 3 or 4 games all season at home. We had a horrendous home form.
This was my first season ticket was this season, 91-92. Yeah, when I first discovered Tottenham, I was 8.
Shows how bad Peter Shreve was as a manager.
That was Eric Torsfit in goal, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
But good morning, Cody. Good morning, Cody.
Cody, bring up this one again. He's saying, "Good morning, gentlemen." Also, good morning, Kuva. So, well, we'll just say, I'll hold you in the same light as myself, Cody.
You need to come on here one day, Cody. You need to come on. You need to come on to the best show. That's near enough to Will Stewart's show. We're just above.
Cody,
we're just above Will Stewart's show. We're just above Will Stewart's show. Come on to the best show on YouTube.
Cody will be at work probably. That's his usual
no,
excuse.
I'm only joking.
It's very early for him, isn't it? It's already it's only 7:30 now. So
I am joking. Will Stewart's show, TFC rants. It's an absolute. I can't get my words out today. I sound like bloody what's his name, Jonathan Ross. Can't get my R's right.
How's your subscriber count going at the moment?
TFC. I can't get it out. Right,
THFC
Will Stewart
rants.
Thank you, Koof. It's absolutely a brilliant show. If I'm not sleeping, I do watch a bit of it. So everyone go over there and get a like and subscribe and join his channel. But we're slightly better, don't you think, lads?
So for me, going back to your original question, I'm going.
Nobody backs me up.
Uncle Albert all day long.
Yeah, Uncle Albert took the. You know what the other point to point out, right? So when you said Dermot that the first 2 seasons weren't very popular, if you actually go back and look at the acting in the first 2 seasons, it felt like most successful shows. The pilot is often the most awkward because the acting feels a little bit forced. You know, it's not natural. But as obviously that particular show progressed, it became so natural with Rodney and Del Boy and whoever, Albert or Grandpa. It became far more natural acting. But the first couple of seasons didn't. If you watch them now, they do feel like everyone's trying to get to know each other, and it's a little bit kind of, you can tell they're acting. Whereas later on, it felt like it was all just you were like a fly on the wall in their real life.
Yeah. I thought the funnier one was when we were having Grandad's funeral and they nicked the vicar's cap. And thinking it's Grandad's hat and they put it in the grave. And the vicar says, "Has anyone seen my hat?"
Yeah.
So there's just so many little scenes though that you can pick on all the way through the entirety of this show. It's just some amazing stuff. When they accidentally dig into a water main in the park, and they're selling the water off as Peckham spring water.
Yeah, that was awesome as well.
Can I just very quickly say, and I hope the guys will agree with me, Will Stewart does a fantastic show, and I hope you all guys do back me up in this. He really does. Guys, just very quickly, what have you ever watched it, Phil?
No. If I'm honest, I haven't.
Hoover, have you watched it?
Sorry, I was watching some comments. Watch which bit, mate?
Will Stewart show. Have you ever watched it?
Yeah, of course, loads of times.
It's very good, isn't it? He's
fantastic.
He's got this.
Gaguma made a debut on there the other night. It was fantastic.
He has a unique way of. I love his voice for presenting. It's like, "Hi and welcome to Tantrum Brawl." He's got that sort of American,
cool, chilled back bit, isn't it? It's the and there's some strange characters come on there, like BJ looks oddly familiar, but you can't work out from where.
No, and Terry, you had Terry, didn't you? I still want Terry to come on our show.
Terry Dodd was Mari's Spurs Love Lounge. He came on.
Yeah, I wonder if he's still on the run from the guards.
Oh yeah, he is.
Do
you want to explain people, Cooper, what happened that night very quickly? It's the most funniest story you'll ever hear.
I think everyone here knows.
The Terry Dodd bit, yeah.
It's so funny though.
It just came on one night. This character Terry Dodd appeared on the channel, and he said, "I hate Spurs. I hate all Spurs fans. Ruined my life." And we're thinking, "What's this?" And he's doing it all in capitals, the equivalent of shouting online, as we all know. I said, "What is it?" And he said, "No, he's West Ham, and when we knocked them out of the cup, it ruined his life, and he smashed up his flat." And it just escalated from there. Everything he was saying, we thought, "Is this for real, or is this somebody just doing a wind-up thing?" So we thought it was likely to be like Aaron Dove or somebody like that and messing about. But Aaron swore it wasn't him. So we thought, oh, maybe he is legit. Maybe he's just something a bit mental about this bloke. And it just carried on. This escalating story of that he was now waiting for the police to arrive because he had smashed his flat up. And then he was on, the text was getting worse as he was going along. And he was saying now he's on the run from the police. And now he's getting arrested. And we were thinking, how can you be arrested and you're still managing to type in what's happening at the time? Wouldn't your arms be used, sort of handcuffed at that point? But it just carried on getting worse and worse and worse, and all the Terry Dodd jokes have carried on since. So that's basically it. It was just one of those insane streams. Everybody had a bit of a drink as well.
Except for you, who had the COVID jab, so you felt like you had a drink.
That's right. That's right.
We have a famous person following us on our YouTube channel. Now, this person may not seem a lot to you, but for us here in Ireland, it's a very big deal. Have you ever heard of Christy Moore? He's a very Irish folk singer over here. And I found out last night he actually subscribes to our channel.
That's awesome.
Does he sing The Wild Rover?
No, that was the Dubliners.
He just needs to do a cover then.
No, he's sung Jockster Goes to Jockster Goes. He sung that Jockster song for the '88 European Championship.
Right, I know that song. I do know that song.
Yeah.
You've played it before, I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Christy Moore follows us.
Well,
and
also we're going up in the world. And
yeah,
we've got Big Dog Phil Lattis as well. I mean,
I know. Also, can I just say one thing? I said it yesterday, but excuse me for Ben and Sean, but Phil and Cuba could not run the show without them two. They really are top-notch blokes, and they really are brilliant. And if I'm running late or can't do a show for whatever reason, these two guys, what are you doing, Phil?
Nothing. I'm just doing. That's all right. I'm gonna just move my camera just for a minute, just so I can do something.
See, he's even changed. Look, he's even changed these blooming things. Look.
I'll realise that. Might have to change it again in a minute.
Yeah.
I think
but between Phil and Cooper, no disrespect to you, Ben or Sean. I started this channel with these two. Ben Denkerman has done a brilliant job. Sean, who we hugely respect on this channel, who's part of this family as well. He's part of the channel as well. But for Phil and Cooper, I could not do the show without these two. They're the brainchild behind us. They put a lot of hard work in behind the scenes, these two. Coming up with ideas and coming up with what we're going to do with the channel. And they're great people to work with, brothers. And I want to personally thank them again on every stream. Thank you for all you do for me. You two.
Benny, I feel like you're underappreciated, mate. Maybe I need to steal you.
And Ben, and as for Ben comes from his coffee shop. These morning shows will not be nothing without you. But I just wanted to do it in order. But Phil, who was my first person I brought on, wasn't it, Phil?
Yeah, a long. Well, it feels a long time ago, but
yeah,
in relative time, it's not that long.
Phil was here for the Devical birth, and then Cooper's rounded the show into what it is now because we need Cooper for his brains and his hitman right. We've bought Ben. Value. Yeah, we've brought Ben in for the coffee side of it because we all need a cup of coffee in the morning, and then we've brought Sean in for the financial side to keep us afloat so we don't go bust. So everyone's got their jobs on this channel, but I could not do it. I could not do a show without these four lads below me. They're all legends in their own right in my book, every one of them, and I'm extremely grateful. I'm extremely grateful.
Yeah,
I'm truly grateful for all the work you put into it, especially Cooper and Phil, who were there at the start. So thank you guys so much.
Ben, is there? Are you actually in your coffee shop now? Are you?
Yes.
Are you? Is it busy in there? Are you just?
No, it's not busy.
Yeah,
it's not busy at all. Which is understandable. It's Bank Holiday Monday, and I haven't told anyone I'm open. I'm just here to clean, but I'm gonna be here, do the show, then clean the shop, and then we'll.
What happens because I've only obviously been watching this channel since over Christmas. So are you busy? I've always been curious about how coffee shops operate. Are you busy between the hours of 6 and 9, and then you have a lull until lunchtime, or are you busy throughout the day? How does your general on a February or a June morning? explain to me the kind of the flow of traffic. How does it operate?
I'm gonna instead of this shop isn't really that busy at the moment because it's a new business and it's round the back. This is much more of a coffee roastery, which is brilliant for me because I cannot be busy if I'm roasting coffee. But at my shop in Shoreditch, for example, it's absolutely rammed from 7:30 to about 9 o'clock. Then there's a bit of a what's it called? A hiatus before 11 where people are working. And then there's a quick rush at 11:30 to 12. Then everyone has lunch. And then there's a massive rush just after lunchtime. That was pre-COVID era. My shop in Stockwell is always busy in the morning. And it's quite busy at the moment, which is brilliant for us.
How many shops have you got?
This is my business entirely. This coffee company is entirely me. But with my Italian partners at 7 Grams, we have 2 shops. And we're looking to open a 3rd.
Wow, that's awesome, man. That's great scale. Congratulations.
Cody Mack says Sean's laugh is evil. Yeah, it reminds me of Dr. Noah's a Bond villain. Like you will not win, Mr. Bond.
I think Sean would make a fantastic Riddler.
Yeah, he would. I was actually all Joker.
He's definitely the Joker.
More a Riddler. There's no evil in him.
And go on, you got to read this out, Cleveland Phil. Go
on. Google St. Dermot. There really was a St. Dermot of Ireland. St. Dermot of. I'm going to have a guess. It's just as it sounds, as it's spelled. Clothran.
It's in this Clothran.
Clothran. Okay. Sorry, Innis Clothran. Sorry, reading ahead of myself. Irish royalty. Told you were Irish royalty. There you go, Dermot. St. Dermot.
There you go.
I'm officially a saint. The Pope's made me one.
Truth's agreeing. Spot on, Cody, about Sean's laugh. Definitely. There's evil genius laughter there going on.
Can I also just whilst I get the second, because I think I just saw a comment. I didn't notice it before. Truth sets free. You were really supportive when we were having that row with Marcelo and Jack and Dave. I looked back. I wasn't watching the comments at the time, but I looked back at it to see whether or not I came across like an idiot or whether I was justified or whatever. And I looked through the comments and I saw a lot of you on here, the Tottenham Tantrum Gold team, and also a few people that are in the comments, all kind of having my back. So it's the first time I've had a weird weak moment on a stream, and it's new. It's a new experience, and I felt pretty awful about it afterwards for a little while. But I do appreciate people having my back. It means the world. So thank you.
What was your point on Sunday you were trying to make? Just to get it out there for people.
I just felt like I came onto their stream, and Jack asked me what my opinion was on the game, and my opinion was essentially that I thought we were lucky to win, even though the statistics will show that we dominated possession and we had like a lot of cracks on goal. When I watched the game, I thought that we were pretty poor throughout. We were defended well. We didn't create anything. All of the shots on goal were from wildly weird positions, like outside the right side of the box or from 25 yards. And I think the statistics can be used. And I know that Jack loves statistics to back up his opinions, but I always think the statistics can be misleading. If statistics can tell a story, but you could have 25 shots on goal and therefore you think that you're dominating a game. But if all of those shots are from 30 yards, and they dribble through to the keeper, then it's just players sometimes do those sorts of things. Like Harry Winks used to pass sideways all the time 3 years ago, just so that at the end of the game, his pass completion ratio was 95%. But in terms of like creating anything with it, it's a different story. So all I was saying was, I thought that Tottenham were useless. And before the game, I said that the one strategy, Tottenham were always going to struggle against these lower half teams who are delighted to get a point out of Tottenham. And they're going to sit back and absorb because Tottenham don't know how to break teams down. We haven't got the team, the players at the moment to do it. And I said before the game, Tottenham might have the same problems today, and we need to probably find a way to draw them out. And one of the ways to do that wasn't to have the midfield formation that we did, or the midfield 2 that we did. You needed someone a bit more up front. And Marcelo was like, well, we haven't got the team. You haven't got the team, bro. And I was like, yeah, but we're still 4th or 5th in the league, and the teams that are below us smashed Watford. They smashed them. Brentford smashed them. Leicester smashed them. Brighton smashed them. Arsenal smashed them. Everyone else has smashed Watford. We didn't. We were lucky at the end of the day. Like, we might have deserved the win overall, but it was a 98th minute or 96th minute goal. And he was like, yeah, but we don't have the team. And I was like, but the other teams don't have the team either, but they found a way. And the answer to a poor performance can't always be we need better players. You have to work with what you've got until the opportunity's there. And then essentially we got heated, but it got out of hand because like I kind of got the impression that a couple of, I won't mention names, but a couple of people were like kind of tutting and like rolling their eyes at my attempt, because I was trying to make the point and then one of them would interrupt me and I would like, hang on, mate, let me finish my point before you tell me it's wrong. And then they would stop, and then someone else would interrupt. And I was like, I can't. If it's 3 people that won't let you have your point. And then they were saying, well, you've had a lot of airtime. I was like, yeah, but most of the airtime is me trying to tell you to stop interrupting me. Like, let me get the point across, and then you can tell me it's wrong. And it's okay. I'd love to agree with all of you, but I don't want to be in the pool of people that are wrong today. And the last thing I was trying to say was, you know, like those guys are happy. You're overly happy because we got the 3 points, which I know is all that matters. But if we didn't get that goal in the 98th minute, you'd all be spitting feathers. The only reason you're willing to brush all this over is because we got the 3 points. And I'd rather look at it, observe it analytically, and say it's not good enough, and it's worrying because every team now knows how to defend against Tottenham. We're going to have more luck. I think we're going to have more luck against Chelsea, against Arsenal,
absolutely,
against Liverpool, against Man City, because there's someone that goes, well, we're not going to sit back against Tottenham. We're going to push forward. And so we can then break and do what we do well. But against the likes of Watford, against the likes of Newcastle, against those sorts of teams, we need something else. And the answer shouldn't have to be sign somebody else. The players that are there should, if we're 5th in the league, we will be 4th in the league. We need to figure it out.
Sean, do you think it was calling out for somebody like, and I know we don't trust the guy in one bit, but surely that game there was Tanguy instead of Højbjerg?
Yeah. Or I didn't think Højbjerg should have started. I thought Skippy should have started with Winks.
Skip and Winks,
Yeah, and then you bring on a Tanguy. Again, like I like Brian Hill. I like the guy. I hope he's going to be a superstar for Tottenham, but I don't think he's ready. And whenever he comes on, I don't see him doing incredibly, he's busy but not doing much. And so, and again, my point is, you get criticised when you criticise or critique Antonio Conte. Some of the feedback is like, how can you critique the guy? I'm like, well, that's what we're here to do, isn't it? Like, that's what we're here. We're here to have an opinion. If the answer to everything is Conte's right no matter what, then it's a pretty boring show, So,
yeah, absolutely, Carl Simpson. Everyone is entitled to an opinion. It's called freedom of speech.
Even if it's wildly
you could go political and say that doesn't really exist, but that's a different show altogether. Sean, True Text 3, I knew you were having a bad weekend already. You missed your appearance on We Are Tottenham TV, and your mum was feeling unwell. You could just tell it was a tough weekend. Yeah, absolutely, mate. It did feel like you were a bit under attack though on the.
Well, also, I was more frustrated with myself, if I'm entirely honest, because I let it get to me, and I was getting riled up. And the one thing I would usually consider myself to be is calm under a debate, because I know my opinions are usually quite controversial. So I'm usually you have to be calm, but I wasn't calm. I was getting riled up, and so when I was annoyed, I was really annoyed with myself for allowing myself to look a bit silly.
I think what you got to say is it all ended out well, because you could see it's just one of those things that happened, and everybody appreciated that.
Important point there. Just Carl brings it up, and it's what I was trying to find a place to come in and say is. All the stat, and I work in data, so I know all my stuff. But in football, there's only one piece of data that makes any difference, and it's who scored the most goals and who wins.
Yeah.
Because would you take it now that not Watford had 99% possession, but we won 1-0? Yeah, you would. Us only 70% with 21 shots, and whatever it was, but not scoring a goal. It's just some good stats, but actually it highlights something else, another deficiency. It's like, if you've had that many shots, why haven't you scored?
Can I just say one thing very quickly? and I'm playing sort of devil's advocate here, but in defence of Dave and Jack, they do have a difficult balance to balance when you've got somebody like Marcelo on who's quite out there and quite up and down and quite in your face sort of thing, Brazilian style. And then you've got yourself who's brilliant at what you do. So I can understand. It's the same. Alex comes on. It does get to Dave and Jack a little bit. Not saying you're like Alex, Sean, in one iota. You're not. Alex is just unique. But it is a bit difficult for them because, like I know myself, you've got the chat to do, you've got the game to watch. So I know it can be a little
100%.
bit different.
100%. I've got there's no ill will to anyone.
No,
I love them all.
I just wanted to say that I do understand where you're coming from, but I also understand from doing a show myself how difficult it is for them to. But big up David and Jack.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I love the two. I love all of them. I love them all. I hope it provided good content in the end.
Yeah.
But I can understand with Marcelo, it can be a little bit. I mean, if I was doing the show with Marcelo, I think I would lose my rag as well a little bit. If I'd be bluntly honest. I think we all would.
Like, I didn't have no problem with him either. Like I said, I love them all. Good content. I was more pissed off with myself for letting myself get riled up, and I felt really bad afterwards because at one point I completely forgot that Jack's job is to call out especially the super chats, like where people have paid their money to contribute to the conversation, and Jack was trying to get to a couple of them, but I was in the midst of a debate. I was like, "Hang on a second, Jack. Let me counter." And that was poor of me. Like I say, because it's not my. Yeah. It doesn't come that. Anyway, like I say, for me, it was 51% was my fault. Like I'm angry with myself more than anything. But it's all over now. I love them all and move on. But I do appreciate everyone's support in it. Thanks, Truth.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, I think I would have a bit of a tough time with Marcelo, even though I'm an arguing machine because I argue about 10 times a day in my family.
He does have a habit of shouting over you rather than letting you
I don't know whether it's the Brazilian thing or it's...
Who? Ben Marcelo. Marcelo. I'll talk to him about Ben.
I don't know if it's just like a thing that Brazilians know more about football than everyone else, but... everyone needs to be able to convey their opinion without being interrupted. But I mean, it was good content, and that's all that matters. Bad content is content, and good content is you need content. Content is key. Everything. It drives everyone. You must have content. If it's all neutral and damp squib and all that nonsense, it's not going to be. You're not going to get viewers, and the way to get viewers is to push the boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I take your point.
Hence our cartoon characters debate yesterday. Really important.
And I tell you, I'm really disappointed Chris didn't have his showdown with Alex. Me and Cougar had the popcorn out and everywhere when we saw Alex come on to Brian's show last night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we all had a popcorn ready, and then Chris just went, and I'm thinking, Chris, I sent you a message, I think, Bill, didn't I?
Yeah.
Can I see any content of this guy? I'd love to. Like, I keep hearing about this guy, and I know he was on that chat trying to come on the show after the game as well. But I don't think Dave didn't want him on either. So I'd love to get him on. I'd love to see him on.
I let Phil. I'll start with Phil, and then go to Cooper, and then I go to you, Ben. And I'll start with Phil, then Ben, and then Cooper. What's Alex Davis like in the short words, Phil? To explain it to.
Honestly, he's a solid guy who's got opinions, as we all have, but they're slightly different to the majority of your Tottenham fans. But actually, if you sift through some of what he says, a lot, and he made a point last night and said, do you know what? And his point last night was, although we've got all these points and won all these games under Conte, how many of Conte's games would you sit there and go, they played fantastic? And it's Liverpool. Watford, poor. Southampton, poor. Norwich, although we won 3-0, they could have scored in the first minute. Yep. Brentford, we had to really dig in. And for me, Everton, the big point is that we're digging in. But there's only been the Liverpool game where you sit there and you go, do you know what? This team, we could do some damage.
I agree with that. Completely agree with that point. If that's what his point is, so far, I agree. I don't think we've done very much that's that impressive.
Hi, Moondog.
I think he's got a superiority complex. I mean, you guys will probably rebuttal me, but when I look at the chat on WhatsApp, it seems to me that whatever opinion someone else has, he completely and utterly discounts it. And as soon as you put a relative point, like Chris would put some really good points out, and his argument was, go and watch my channel. It's just like, nobody on YouTube has a God-given right for you to watch their content. As what I said to him, he's Alex Davis. He's got however many, which is brilliant, 150 or so subscribers. He's got 150 subscribers. He's not fucking Pokimane. He's not PewDiePie. He's not Markiplier. He's not got a God-given right. Yeah, he's not got a God-given right for me, who's got a lot of things to do in a day, for me to take time and watch his content. If he can't explain his point in 2 to 3 minutes or in a couple of paragraphs, it's not worth me listening to. Yeah. I've got things to do. And whenever you're trying to say, please give us your thing, it's like, oh, just watch my channel. It's just like, if you're not telling me your opinion, I'm just going to discount it. And when it comes to the chat with Dave the other day, Dave and Jack constantly invite him onto their show, and he always says he's too busy. He only wants to come on when he wants to come on. And that is a complete and utter disgrace, in my opinion, because it's a disgrace to Marcelo. It's a disgrace to Sean, who have been invited onto the show and have accepted the thing and are trying to convey their point. But he is just trying to jump in, which is it's unacceptable from any sort of standpoint. It says that Sean or Marcelo don't have the guile to convey their own point, which is incredibly rude and it's incredibly self-centered. And even when he won't even capitalize people's name, which is just that's a deep disrespect. I think it's a deep disrespect because it shows you've got just show a bit of respect. Show some respect to the people in the chat. And it seems like he goes out of his way to cause an argument in the chat. But that's my point.
He's got 90 subscribers, by the way, Ben. Just to let you know. I just checked.
So he definitely is not Pokimane then.
Right.
he was so close to it as well.
Yeah. Kuva, what can you say about Mr. And can I just point out, Alex Davis is a really nice fella. He really is. What I've seen of him, I don't agree with all his points, but he seems like a really nice lad. So I just want to put it out there as well. Because if you could explain Alex Davis to Sean, how would you put it?
What one word? Contrarian. That's it.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah. Doesn't matter what the argument. He will go under a rock the moment an argument breaks out. He is out and he wants to be part of it.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I might go and check out. I don't know what his channel is, but I'd like to see it.
It's called Alex THFC.
Okay. Well, but anyone to capture so much attention, but not to have, not for me not to have met him or heard his points, I'll definitely hear the guy out, And I like debate, and if he likes debate, it's. But then there's debate. Then there's just if you want to argue just for the sake of arguing, then it's not the same as having an opinion that's different. If his opinion changes, just to play the opposite opinion of whatever's being spoken about, then that might be something different.
Sorry, Phil. I didn't mean to press the button for you to start to bollock me now.
Go.
Yeah, but and I'm not going to answer that comment what you put in the private chat. I'm gonna do it by one word on the stream.
What I'm gonna say is we were talking about Paratici and he's gonna have the power.
Sorry, Ben. Can we just get some of these comments through because we're sort of building up here. So
no, we're up to date. They've all come up, but just
we'd just like to get Cooper to read them out because of people that can't see, that probably watch the stream that have sight problems. I just like the important ones. I like to read out.
Okay, we'll go true sets 3 then. Marcelo should face me. The internet would blow up. It will get so personal. That's why I stay away. Can't imagine that from True Sets 3 somehow, but
no, I can't.
But I do love Marcelo and you guys because we're on the same team at the end of the day.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's the most important thing. Yeah.
And Carl Simpson saying, we all know this team was all about being in the top 4 battle so he could get to the transfer window for Conte to work his magic. that fact is win games in hand. We're a point behind Chelsea.
Yeah, I saw that today. It's amazing. I've been saying it for a while. I think Chelsea are gettable. I think we could get Chelsea this season. Why this delusional, right, Kuva?
I have a question. I'm sorry, Kuva. I have a question for the panel. I'll start with you, Kuva. Sorry, and I'll work my way up. With Tottenham having games in hand, and where is the realistic position you think we can finish in the league? With the 8 games unbeaten, it's a two-part question. Can we go unbeaten for the rest of the season, and where will we finish in the league? Dave?
I very much doubt we'll go unbeaten, but that's just a lot of games. That's a big ask. It's suddenly turning us round from a very disappointing team to world beating. I don't think we're quite at that level yet. But third place is definitely up for grabs. There's nothing there. I'd say, in fact, now the strange thing is, I'm looking at Chelsea being more catchable than maybe Arsenal.
Yeah, that's interesting. That
Arsenal are on a hell of a run. I keep hearing people saying, "Oh, they'll fall apart and everything," but they've been saying it all season, and they're still there.
Yeah.
And if anybody had actually watched that game against Manchester City, they were the better team.
Yeah.
They genuinely were robbed. So that's worrying. But let's finish above them anyway because it's funny.
Tottenham and Arsenal could both finish in the top 4 this year.
Yeah.
Why not? Phil,
serious possibility.
Do you, man? Can we go on?
Sorry, I thought you were going in order.
No, I'm going in. I'm going like doing them.
No, it's fine. No, we won't go unbeaten all season. And I think we'll finish 4th.
I've gone from the Father and I've gone to the Son. Now I'm going for the Holy, and then Sean's the Ghost. Right. Ben.
Yeah, I think we can get 4th. I think Chelsea just have the quality to edge us out with like the players like N'Golo Kante and Kovacic, got a goal yesterday. They've got some incredible quality players, and if they get Lukaku back on side, I think they will just finish above us. But I think top 4 we can do it, and if we sign some players in this month, we can guarantee top 4. We just need a few more players. We need a proper number 8 who's gonna, which is what Sean is saying. If we get like a proper number 8 who works hard and that can break a defensive line, we're sorted, I think.
Sean,
the only thing I'd add to that is, we're not going to go unbeaten, but if we keep grinding games out until we improve, then why not? We can definitely get into the top 4. I agree with Ben. I think that I don't think we'll get 3rd, but we should be aiming for 3rd. I think there's probably 5 or 6 teams that could finish 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th at the moment. What I do think above transfers is going to be a massive factor is injuries. If we get an injury to any key players, and Harry Kane doesn't often get past January without going down with a bad ankle. So, we can't afford injuries. Chelsea can afford a couple more injuries than we can. Arsenal, I don't think, can afford injuries either. Man United probably can afford a couple more injuries than we can.
I think it's clearly evident with Conte that he's only got a handful of players that he really trusts.
Yeah,
I think when you look at the bench against Watford, and it's very easy for us to go, well, it's a Tanguy game, it's a Lo Celso. He don't trust them. If you don't trust them, they ain't playing. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. But I think the injuries will determine a lot, and if we can stay injury free, then the sky's the limit. But like I say, all it takes is, we've got a couple of players out that are injured as well. I'd like to get Sessegnon back fit, because I'd like to have a second option on the left, which we don't have at the moment. I'd like to see, obviously Romero's on his way back, but let's hope that's
for me. Our left back is the only position where we have 2 players where I think we don't need to upgrade.
Yeah.
You always could, don't get me wrong, but at the moment it's probably the only position where I'm there going, do you know what? Yeah, those 2 shouldn't be anything that's high on our agenda.
Yeah. But he plays for 1 game and then he goes down again, right? So we have how much game time has Sessegnon missed through injuries in the last 2 seasons?
The real question is how much game time has he not missed through injuries?
Yeah,
That's a much easier question.
yeah, and it's not a lot. The answer's not a lot, right? He's always gone down. He comes back, doesn't play.
Yeah,
But there's
good
a player in
afternoon.
there. Sorry.
I just want to say good afternoon, Chris. We've got some comments here that we should read out from some of them, just to quickly get them in. Do you want to bring some of them up, Phil? Just read them out there, please, quick.
Okay, John Fitzpatrick saying, look at our run in. We have to play all the big boys away from home. If Conte gets us top 4, he is God.
Yeah.
It's going to be
The
tough.
thing is, what we've been saying
Wow.
is Tottenham are better against the big teams. We are better against the big teams,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
the way we set up.
We
can
have
get some
somebody.
points on-
We have somebody from Virginia joining us this morning. Gone all the way across America.
Get to that in a minute. Moondog, to be honest, I reckon we will get 5th. But on a plus next season, we'll take in the title. Come on. I'll take that.
You've got to aim high, though. If you don't aim high, we're nothing.
Yeah, well, first will do.
Even failure will have an echo of glory if you aim high.
Anywhere in that top 1 for next season,
Yeah.
that's okay. Yeah.
I'm talking about this year. Next year, we're definitely winning the league. But if this year, we've got to aim as high as possible.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I genuinely think 3rd is up for grabs this season. It's just going to be tough. Carl Simpson saying, but Lukaku is signing for us according to the Italian media. Yeah, the famously reliable Italian media that we keep looking at. Chris Agomba, good of you to join us again, mate. Afternoon all, he says.
Good afternoon.
Kieran McDonald, good morning from Virginia, lads. Just getting our first snow of the winter today. Morning, mate.
Enjoy the snow.
Yeah, very much early
I think
morning.
this is a new one. He's a new subscriber, isn't he, guys?
I would think so. I can't remember if you've been. Oh, sorry, did I say Kieran or was it Kerrion? Kerrion.
That's
Kerrion. Yeah, I just instantly read it as Kieran. Sorry. Yeah, I don't recall seeing the name before. Anyway, certainly newish to the channel, if not new today. Welcome aboard, anyway.
From Virginia. Lovely.
Truth sets 3. Chelsea 3 times, Arsenal once. What a month. Yeah, definitely is.
Yeah. I've got a question coming up for the panel with that actually in mind.
Well, should we come back to the Chelsea Arsenal one or this one?
We'll do all the we'll leave that one as well. We'll go to the next one.
Ben still needs to answer the last question about where we're going to finish.
All right. Okay. Sorry.
Okay. We'll just get through these quickly then.
Yeah,
Cole Simpson, question. Are we right in there for the Isco and Coutinho? Which one would you take for that role behind the striker? Should we do Ben finishing off the other question first?
Yeah, top 4. Top 4.
Top 4.
I think we're not guaranteed anything because we haven't got Godwin right to be in the top 4. But I think we're going to finish in the top 4. If he gets his signings that he needs, I think we can finish in the top 4.
Yeah, I think if we get given the signings he wants, then I think it will be an easy top 4. I think we can scrape it even without though. Tough though. Right.
What about Dermot? Dermot, what's your view then? Top 3, top 4?
Right. Firstly, I don't agree with anyone who are going to win the league next season. I think we've been a bit deluded on that. I think we'll win the league in our 3rd season.
That's what we do. That's what we do on these channels.
No, being serious, I think us winning the league next season is getting really ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Firstly, we have to see if Levy will back Conte. That's the first best thing. It gets to me, everyone thinks Conte's going to come and he's going to win us this, he's going to win us that. Let's be brutally honest. We've got a shit team. That he can make some players better. Now, we've gone 8 games of beaten. Yes, it's brilliant. It's all fantastic. I'm over the moon. But we haven't played well in most of them. Now, somebody said in the chat also, we've got to play all these big teams away in the league this season. Now, I think we will get top 4.
Arsenal, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if we don't get top 4, I think we'll get top 5. I think we have to be realistic on that. But we're dependent on getting top four. The rest of the top four having bad runs, which I think, with the game in hand, may work in our favour and may not. I don't think we'll win the league next season. Next season is top four for me. The following season is when we win the league. But if we can win the cup, then I'm all up for that. We've got more chance of winning cups than we have winning the league. I don't think we're not good enough to win the league yet.
Concern is though, isn't it? Is if you're doing on your program that final year, Conte might not be here. I know. There's obviously talk of him possibly extending, but he could have finished by then.
Yeah, because
it's good though that we're all in agreement. Then easy top four this season, winning the league next season. Let's move on.
I mean, Conte has a track record of winning the league in his second season. He did it at Inter.
I'm
he
sorry,
did it at Chelsea.
Ben.
He's got a track record.
I don't care if he's got. I don't care if he's got a track record winning 100 meters at the Olympic Games every season. It all depends if Levy backs him. If Levy doesn't back them, you can't trust Levy. I'm sorry. Everyone's going on about, Levy will do this, Levy will do that. Levy will not change his spots for no reason whatsoever. Now, if he's, as Phil said,
if he's ever going to do it, it's going to be now because he knows the pressure he's under.
As Phil said on one show, and I agree with Phil, if Levy's just sticking to the business side and Paratici to the football side, then grand. But Levy, everyone forgets, Levy's the one who signs the checkbooks. Not Paratici, not Conte. Levy does. Now, this is all thing. I know, Ben, you disagree with me wholeheartedly, and I appreciate what you're saying. I respect what you say, but we have to be realistic. We could probably more chance winning cups than we have winning the league. I think the third season, if Conte's still there, we'll win the league.
I don't think Conte will be around for that long.
I think if we win the league next season, I'll be overjoyed. I can't see it happening. I can see us winning cups, but I can't see us winning the league. We're not good enough. We haven't got the players there. Do you know what I mean? We haven't got the players. We've got likes of Dele Alli, Harry Winks, Dyer. We need to, as Cooper said in one stream, we need to strip that team down to at least 5 players. So are you going to do that?
Strip them down though, Dermot. We need to like get rid of where we can. Improve the competition. Dele Alli, I would be surprised if Dele Alli's still at the club in 28 days' time. I'd be very surprised if we haven't signed somebody in the midfield. Like we don't at the moment. We actually have a lot of midfield players. It's just that the most expensive ones of them are chewing up, and the most on a salary and on a transfer budget. Lo Celso doesn't play because he's always injured, and when he's not, he's misbehaving. Ndombele, terrible attitude. There's 100 million quid spent just in those two.
But who's going to pay the money though, Sean? Who's going to pay that money for them? Who's going to pay those?
We did.
The other problem you've got there, if you take Dele Alli, Lo Celso, and Tanguy and Ndombele, their weekly wage between the three of them is £500,000 a week.
Yeah, it's insane.
And that's such a massive factor to, if you're not playing them, who spends £500,000 every week on something you don't use?
On a statue, yeah. I think that the best option, I think the best mechanism, because I take your point, Dermot, like no one's like Tanguy and Ndombele doesn't have to agree to a move anywhere, right? He can sit there and pick up his 200 grand for the next.
Sorry, did you see that bit of skill by Paul Wall?
Yeah, I did.
Sorry,
I did.
Tanguy doesn't have to agree to a move anywhere, right? He can pick up his 200 grand a week for the next 3 or 4 years. I think that will cost, may bring to the end of his career at any level if he makes that option. And I don't think anyone's going to pay that salary. And why would he want to go and play somewhere else for half?
We could end up subsidising a loan move there, couldn't we?
Yeah, that's what I think. The best way to get him off the books is to do what Real Madrid did with Bale. Essentially, we'll take half the salary. We'll pay you 100 grand a week. Loan him back to, I don't believe the rumor that Jose Mourinho at Roma was interested in him, because Jose Mourinho didn't really love him that much at Tottenham either. So, but I can imagine something like him going to Italy where the pace of the play is slower, where he doesn't need to be, the physical attributes that he doesn't have in terms of athleticism is not quite as demanding, and maybe the style of play suits him. I think maybe he goes on loan with certain conditions that if he plays a certain amount of games, if he does a certain amount of metrics during that time, then he'll get signed at the end of that period. And maybe that's best for all parties, best for Tottenham, best for the receiving club, and also best for Tanguy Ndombele, right? Like he needs to go and play somewhere where he's happy.
We all seem to have missed a point here. They don't have to go if they don't want to.
No, I know.
They can
but
just
I feel
sit
like
there. But who's afforded them putting them on big money then? Who put Dele Alli on big money?
I think Tongi will want to go. I think Tongi will go.
He won't want to go.
Yeah,
why would he want to go?
He hates life at Tottenham.
He's already expressed he wants to go.
Yeah, he wants to go.
But it's the case of Dermot, take your point. He doesn't need to go. So the only way to make it happen is to convince him that there's a better situation elsewhere. And if Daniel Levy doesn't overthink it, then, like I say, it's more about money saved right now than money earned. Like you've got to accept that it was a bad purchase, but it's
a very bad purchase. It was a Hitchin movement and a Hitchin buying. Why is Hitchin still there? But the point I'm trying to make is we're all getting ahead of ourselves. Let's see where we are at the end of the season before we start saying we're going to win the league next season. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Let's see where we are at the end of the season. Let's see where we finish and take stock from there. I think we've been a little bit ahead of ourselves if we think we're going to run away with the league. Conte wins the league in the second season. I think we'll need to take stock where we are and just be a bit sensible about it. Go for a cup wins. We've got 2 cup competitions we can win this season. If we don't get top 4, getting into the Europa League is an improvement from last season. Let's be fair. Anything's an improvement from last season. If we can get to the League Cup final, win that. If we can get to the FA Cup final, win that. Win 2 cups and try to get top 5. I think for us that'd be a successful season, and then take the stock to there. But I'm not getting on this. We're going to win the league. We're going to do this. Till I know that Levy will put his hand in his pocket, sign the checks, and buy the players Conte wants. I just don't trust the man, and I just see it all ending in tears. I hope it doesn't, but Levy has a habit of doing this.
If Levy doesn't make any signings in January, Conte's going to go anyway, so it's all irrelevant.
Yeah,
but Conte's staying. We'll be making the signings. In that case, we're going to win the league, so we're having that. Right, let's move on.
Let's look at. So we've got a lot of chats coming in. So very quickly, from starting with Dermot. Question: we're right in there for Isco and Coutinho. If it was an option, which one would you take? You could only have one of them.
Coutinho.
Ben,
I think he's suited to the Premier League, and I think he played brilliant for Liverpool. I think he'd be a great addition for us and a great midfielder, which we desperately need.
I can only look at a track record when it comes to Isco and Coutinho. And Coutinho, when he was at Bayern a couple of seasons ago, won them the Champions League. He was just that good in that season. And it goes back to being in a more aggressive team that played in a way he liked. Isco hasn't been good for 5 years. It's another Dele Alli, not turning up for 5 years. And this sort of fantasy that we should get Isco. Isco is nothing now. He hasn't been anything for years. So between those two...
He's been linked with us for years, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he wouldn't get in the team. He's just not good enough at the moment. He's not been good for years. He's not going to suddenly be brilliant. But Coutinho, he's got a track record in the last couple of years of being brilliant, but just not suiting the Barcelona system because they play a 4-3-3 instead of like playing more of a system like we have.
Yeah. All right, Sean, what's your view on those two?
Well, I think Coutinho is on a really super high wage, right? And Isco isn't. So I think that the more likely of the two is Isco. I think they're both talented players. I'd be happy with either of them. I prefer Coutinho, tried and tested in the Premier League, but I feel like the more realistic one, if there is one, is Isco. He's on a 50% of the salary. So, speaking of which, though, just before I move on, how the fuck did Barcelona find 55 million euros to pay
do you know what?
I can answer that. I can actually answer that. They got a loan of, I think it was 500 and something million from a bank and investor, which is repayable over, I think, 5 years, which actually gives them a transfer budget as well.
It's still 2 million a week they've got to pay back then.
It's surely not over 5 years.
No, it'll be 50 years.
I read somewhere 5 years was something linked to it or something like that. Maybe it's another loan they took out, but
they're bankrupt. They've been propped up by the Spanish government for the last 25 years, and the Spanish government, or the Catalonian government, whatever you want to call it. Now that's also bankrupt essentially. So it doesn't make any sense to me how they can pull 55 bar out of the bag to pay for Ferran Torres. It just doesn't make any sense.
No, it's corrupt. It's corruption in its highest. Barcelona should not be allowed to be a football club anymore if it's bankrupt. They should have to do what Rangers did. They should have to go down to the lowest division and work their way up again, because it's sickening what's happening. It's a slap in the face to financial fair play. It's a slap in the face to teams that actually try and balance the books. And it's what's it called? The top table boys don't have to succumb to any problems. It's sickening.
It really is. Really is. But yeah, I'd take Isco. Well, no, I'd take Coutinho, but I think I'm happy with it. I'd take him as well. Either of them are good, Phil. Or Dermot, whoever asked the question.
Before we read something, I've got a question. Football now needs to start looking at the financial aspect more because it's getting silly. Would you guys do a profit and loss account accumulator at the end of every Premier League season or every season? After the season's gone, they look at the profit and loss account and see how much money the team has spent, and then you deduct points on how much you've broken fair play. Because I think that is the only way you're going to start seeing teams behave themselves with money. So let's say Manchester City winning the league by 25 points. They'll say, hey, hang on a minute, you've got a minus £500 million in debt because you've basically bought the league. We're going to reduce your points by, let's say, 20 points from what those players have won. I think it's the only way that's going to fix football is by start looking at the financial aspect, because it's now getting stupid.
And again, maybe Sean can back. Does that not just improve the quality of accounting?
Yeah, it's always one of those things, mate. That's what financial fair play's tried to do anyway, but they did it over because of the fact that you can get very clever with, delay. The reason why you have loans to buy or delaying purchases for 3 years, or it's paying in installments. All these, there's a million tactics that that players or that chairman can do to float the boat or to float the books the way it needs to be looked. And the financial fair play attempted to try and overcome their ability to do that by saying, well, we'll take a 3-year spread and we'll analyze over 3 years, and unless you have certain other situations that you can manipulate, then technically you're only allowed to have an average of an £8 million loss every season for the 3 seasons on a rolling basis. But then there's other ways you can get around that, like Newcastle, because they've got a new investor from an outside source, they're allowed to have an additional 30 million every year in losses for on a 3-year basis, right? So the reason why they could spend 400 million is in no small part, because they've been marginally profitable, but also because they've got 3 years worth of 38 million pound write-downs that they can put into place. So financial fair play is trying to do what you're saying, and unfortunately you couldn't look at these things on a 1-year basis unless you stopped transactions happening where the payment for the player was made or paid over certain periods of time, right? Like, I don't know, like the reason why financial fair play doesn't work is because it's entirely impossible to restrict because it's a business at the end of the day. And so how can you put rules in place to say, just because you're a football club, you're buying an asset, there's nothing to stop, I don't know, the Museum of London buying a painting and paying for it over 50 years. There's nothing to stop a property company buying a property and having a mortgage over 50 years. There's nothing to stop anyone else doing these things. So you shouldn't be able to stop football teams doing it. And as such, because there's all these ways that you can, that you can subtract and move around with, to Phil's point, clever accounting, there's no real way that even over 3 years that you can really get a true reflection of where people's or clubs' finances are. So I take your point, Ben, but like to Phil's point, it's clever accounting that allows people to dance around it. And until those rules are completely changed, I don't think they can be. I think financial fair play is always going to be abused, always going to be not really fit for purpose, but it is what it is. I don't know if that answered the question.
It is. Kuba, I'm just going to go back to Carl's question. Coutinho or Isco?
out of the two, Coutinho all day long, but I'm struggling to see that happening unless it's on loan till the end of the season, something like that. Barcelona paying half the wages or something like that.
Right, can I just give you a bit of in-depth on the Barcelona thing, because I've just done a bit of digging while you've all been talking. A Dubai company offered Barcelona a 1.3 billion loan to pay off the Catalans' debts after Messi transfer window fast.
Sorry, who was that? Who gave them the loan?
A Dubai company, and then
A Dubai company,
and then
Wow.
and then it was
always the same.
FC Bar, and then Barcelona secured a 500 million Goldman Sachs loan. So that's where the money came from.
That's because they didn't get the $1 billion that they were going to get from their Super League.
Goldman Sachs didn't do the Super League though. That was another company.
That was JP Morgan, wasn't it?
Sorry,
Yeah,
JP Morgan.
Yeah.
Surely that's not. That's not a loan. That's a buyout. Surely.
What does it say on the? What does it say in the detail, Derm?
I'm just going to get it up now.
Just an astronomical amount of money to be lending to one club.
I
think they're relying on the fact that Barcelona is the biggest brand, arguably in world football, and without that they go under, right? So
yeah, Barcelona are in debt up to 1.173 billion.
They're not writing off the debt, but they're loaning them the debt. So that's just moving.
They're just buying the debt off of them.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
You see, if they'd done the ESL, they would have received a 3.5 billion. So that would have actually near enough written off the debt.
That's why they were at the forefront of that, wasn't it?
Yeah. I just wanted to say something on Ben's point, if that's okay with you lads, if you don't mind, very quickly, and then we get to the comments. I don't agree with you, Ben, with this point deducted. I think the fit and proper thing was brought in to weed out the bad owners and that. If you run a football club, it's down to you how you run it. Every team that's won the league, one way or the other, has bought the league. You look at Blackburn, you look at Man United, you look at Liverpool over the years.
Probably one exception in Premier League days, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think by punishing the fans, the players, the club, and the fans, you're punishing the wrong people by deducting them points. You should be punishing the people, the owners, not the team, or not the fans, not the football club. You should be punishing the owners. So I don't agree with your deducting points, because then you're punishing the fans. It's not the fans' fault that it's not the fans that are making the owners spending so much money to win a league. It's the people in charge of the club, and I think everything should be brought back to the owners of the club. They should be made to be responsible for what they do. It's not the fans' fault. And you taking points away, that's punishing the fans, which I think is highly unfair. There has to be other ways of dealing with this. Improving the fit and proper mandate, improve them rules, improve them questions that the Premier League, who should never have allowed Newcastle to be bought out by a Saudi Arabia country. I think it's wholly unacceptable that one of our clubs in the Premier League is owned by that country for all their human rights and everything that they do against human rights. So I think that needs to be looked at. But for you saying the club should be deducted 20 points because they spent 400 million, you're punishing the fans, and that's punishing the wrong people. So that's just my thought, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude to you, Ben. I respect your decision, I respect your opinion, you're a top bloke, but just my opinion. I apologise if you think I'm disrespecting you. It's not my intention.
It's not disrespecting at all. It's just the way I see football at the moment is there are too many clubs now that are desperate to ruin financial fair play, like Man City, PSG,
but
Barcelona.
They're not though, Ben. But they're not though. Man City are not ruining fair because the money they're getting is from Etihad, which is the company. So the company are entitled
it's all coming into the point of sponsoring themselves, which is saying
they've still overspent their income by over 100 million for the last 10 years.
So what I'm saying
is, if we're going to your point, Ben, sorry to interrupt you. If we're going to your point, then saying, but wouldn't you deducting points? Isn't that punishing the fans?
No, it's punishing the football club.
Yeah,
Because
what other
because
punishment
the
can you
fans
do?
suffer
You can't,
and the
you
fans
can't
revolt.
fine them. You can't fine them, can you? Fine them £100 million is
There's nothing
peanuts
for
for
them.
them.
Yeah, but why not do the fit and proper? Why not do that properly? Why not actually be more stringent on that? Why would
Even if they do find the owners, even in that world where the owners can be fined, that's still ultimately going to come back and affect the fans anyway, Dermot, by the fact that there's not going to be the 100 million available for players or for salaries, etc. It all, unfortunately, like as a customer of a company, you can choose whether or not you want to participate. And if the company goes under, at best, you might just lose your customer service or you might lose your warranty. But with a fan base, you know, and these are the points that you guys made to me before. Like as a fan base, you're stuck with the club, come rain or shine. So,
but do we all agree that the Newcastle deal shouldn't have happened? Do we all agree on that there should be something? The Premier League should look at themselves. Their fit and proper process should be made more stringent, more tighter. That the likes of Saudi Arabia can't take over a football club in the Premier League. Do we all agree on that at least?
But you can say, why can't the Saudis buy a club? Because Qatar bought a club, and Qatar is just as bad, if not worse.
Well, that's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making. Should the fit and proper test be made tougher?
If this afternoon Ben gets an offer for his coffee shop and decides he's going to sell, who are we to say, well, Ben, you shouldn't sell to Fred, you should sell to Barney? You know, you'll do, but you'll use the best. You'll do the best. What is the best? Unfortunately, you have to go with what is the best deal for Ben.
Yeah.
So if you know,
well, who hold for them for you? If a Saudi Arabia club bought us from Levy, would you be happy? Either yes or no?
Depends who it is.
Levy wouldn't sell to a Saudi.
Some owners are worse than others. I mean, no, Saudi Arabian. No, I mean, if it's going to win us the league, I don't give a toss. I don't mean, God's given us about human rights. No, yeah, of course, it matters.
But that,
Ben is part of the EU.
You said that as a joke point there. If we did bring somebody in and they spent and we won the league next season, are you in May next season going out for a party, or are you thinking, well, we were probably a little bit unfair, maybe we shouldn't have done it like this? It's not the right ethics, and I'm not saying I agree or disagree with it, but we all say we're on here because we support Tottenham Hotspur. And if Tottenham Hotspur are winning the league or pushing for trophies and at the top echelons of everything that we do, that's what we all want. We'd love it to be through self-generated money, but actually
everyone's a hypocrite.
I'm going to bring up Craig Bowler has made an amazing point on this. This is the reason why Man City weren't punished. It's because City's legal team with Etihad is far superior. They've got 1,000 lawyers, and UEFA probably have about 4.
Where's that comment, Ben? Which one? How does it start?
It's just come up. Craig Bowler, UEFA or the FA can't really take on Man City's legal team. That's the reason why they can't get them punished from the Champions League. That is the main reason. We saw the picture of City's lawyers when they turned up at court. UEFA had like 1 or 2 lawyers. City had about 50. This is why UEFA can't punish City, because they're always going to be able to get them out of it.
There's another match. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
But my original point is what I'm saying is, whether you like Levy or not, but from a business standpoint, we talked about our opinions on Levy. Tottenham Hotspur Football Club has been run like a proper business, a proper football club, and we've been punished for it. Whereas City are not run like a proper football club because they're run with dodgy dealings, and they're run by giving themselves infinite money. So they win everything. So in an ideal world, football clubs should not only be winning things on the football pitch, they should also be winning things by being an ethically moral football club, by running the club properly, earning profit from the work of the team, supporting the community, supporting this, supporting that, supporting this. And it's an entire fact. But with City just being able to give themselves money, there should be a way of punishing them, because this is it's not good for anything. It's not good for football.
But the point I'm making, I agree what you say, Ben, but the point I'm making is, surely when the Premier League, when the application goes in, right, say you want to buy Tottenham Hotspur, right? Okay. And just say you and Sean want to buy Tottenham Hotspur, right? And Sean has a really dodgy past. Sorry, Sean, I don't mean to use you as, I'm not saying you do, but I'm trying to make this as an example, right?
We're not outing you on stream, Sean. Your secret's safe.
Yeah. Right, Sean has a dodgy past. He's been in prison for laundering money and all this money laundering and everything, which he hasn't, by the way. Which he has. This is just hypothetical.
How do you know that?
We don't know that for sure.
Yeah,
Right.
a couple of things I had to leave America pretty quickly.
Need your ethics
anyway,
committee in on this.
Yeah, and Coover and Phil are the Premier League, right? And they see you, Ben, or proper man who owns the club. You go through the fit and proper tests, fine. But you got Sean, who wants to buy the club, who's dodgy as hell. Who the Premier League going to go for? And Sean's got more money. Who's the
Let me
Premier
just
League
play
going to go
out
for?
this scenario. Sean, the application is a no. However, depending on the size of the brown envelope, it could become a yes. And you go, do you know what?
There we go.
4 million.
There's my point.
Yeah.
So that's my point. So the point is the fit and proper process has to be tougher.
But
You can't punish the
unfortunately,
fans.
mate, there's
But that's
unfortunately,
also the
Dermot, there
point
is
that that's
corruption.
why it won't happen.
Yeah,
Because
and there's
corruption
corruption
throughout
at every level. And I'm not being funny, but I know that there's overt human rights abuses in certain countries of the world. But if you were to go up,
Hang on.
I sorry, Sean, just quickly. I was always against Saudi Arabia or the Newcastle owners buying Newcastle.
I get it. Yeah,
The,
listen.
the 19 other Premier Clubs were against it. What happened? Why did they not keep that protest going?
Well, the technical reason why they managed to get through is one thing, but in reality, it's because they sacrificed their piracy act, right, on the beIN Sports. They were stealing the content, and they agreed to pay a $1 billion fine back towards the Premier League rights, right? So in doing that, they magically were back on side with certain key stakeholders in the decision-making process. Unfortunately, Dermot, two things I point out to you is essentially in life, there is corruption at the highest levels of any decision-making process where there's money, there's muck, and there is always, you look at Sepp Blatter with FIFA and the bids for the World Cups that went to Qatar. You know, football is no different to any other industry.
That's another thing that shouldn't have happened. Qatar should not happen.
I know,
either.
but it did happen. It always will happen. There's always backhanders. There's always brown envelopes, to Phil's point. And the other thing I'd point out is that, you know, we are all hypocrites in life. Everybody looks through their own decision-making process and has rose-tinted spectacles, and everyone looks at everybody else, or not every, but 99% of the world are going to view the things that benefit them and allow a little bit more subjectivity, a little bit more wiggle room in the moral or ethical process, and they'll look at things that don't affect them or that affect them negatively and will come down harshly. You guys have always said we want Daniel Levy and ENIC out. I've always countered with, if you want him out, who is available to come in? And if there's only a list of 10 names, 8 or 9 of them have probably fallen foul of serious ethical processes in order to get the money that they have on some level. It might not be chopping off journalists' arms and putting them in a suitcase in a Turkish embassy, like what happened with Saudi Arabia and the Khashoggi guy, but there's always something, right? And, you know, to Kuba's point before, the suggestion of Jeff Bezos, I'm pretty certain Jeff Bezos, he's got skeletons in his closet as well.
Yeah.
Like there's skeletons everywhere. And we looked at Newcastle and go, well, we don't want Newcastle to do that because how dare they allow this horrible human rights, exploitation-based ethical company to come in and ruin the good name of English football. But the name of English football isn't that clean, right? The name of football generally isn't that clean. And if Tottenham had a buyer that could give you the money that you want, Dermot, to take us to the next level, I guarantee you that those people are probably just as dirty in different ways that we are not aware of.
I mean, I'm as Levy out as much as anyone. I rarely am because I'm sick of the way he's run. And as Kuvas has said on more than one occasion on this channel, it's becoming a franchise. And Kuva, I don't think I'm wrong in saying you said once, I think you said about you could see an American football franchise Tottenham team in the NFL. And I think you've said that before. If I'm right in saying that, if I'm wrong, I apologise. I don't mean to get it wrong.
And it's a great idea, Dermot. But like what Donald Trump said about the American yeah, fine. But he was what I was about to say. He did make a very good point when the American press was saying, why are we in Afghanistan and Russia and all of the things that Russia do and all the people that they've killed? And he was like, oh, what? You think that we're so clean? Like Americans, the British, we all killed. Like I'm sure at the highest top brass of politics, I'm sure there's people that are getting, disappeared all day long. And to think that we're any different at the highest levels of any industry to anybody else, I just don't
you're
believe
saying
it.
about the Americans and English. England in its past has ruled countries for hundreds of years. You ruled us for 700 years. India.
Right, okay. Exactly. So the British have got a lot to answer for in their history.
More than a lot.
More than a lot. Like I say, every wherever it's not us. Like as individuals, we're more worried about trying to put food on our kids' tables or on that sort. We're trying to get through life. But as you go up the totem pole of power, it doesn't matter what color you are, what country you're from, or what language you speak. They are all out for themselves and all do things that are horrendous. If you knew what these people did, you wouldn't ever want them anything to do. But there's nobody in our world who do the things that we do that can afford a football club. So
we all joke about things like Illuminati and things and conspiracy things. I mean,
to a degree, it's true though, right?
Yeah, exactly. There is a clique that amongst the mega rich. They do collude. They do work on projects together. Most things are well below them. They're in a totally different stratosphere. So at the end of the day, these things will happen because the money makes it happen.
Yep.
This also comes back to the point about punishing the likes of Manchester City and anybody that gets banned from European football, for example, for failing these financial fair play. What happens then? You're going to have the Champions League punishing the quality of their product. If you take Manchester City out of the Champions League, you take Barcelona out, you take Real Madrid out, their product is worthless.
Yeah,
they're harming themselves. They can't afford to do it. If they stick by it, and the Premier League sticks by it and starts docking points, costing clubs trophies and things like that, what's going to happen? You'll get the Super League happens like that because clubs will go elsewhere for their product, get paid more. They're looking to do it already. So all of the punishments, it just doesn't matter. You can be as ethical as you want. People are just going to move where the money is. It's always going to happen.
The root of all evil.
Yeah. Can we get through some of these comments because they really have built up? Actually, I think we've started a right little conversation
this is a record
in the comment there.
Do
you want me to bring them up for you, Phil? Do you want to do that? Give you a break.
I'll bring them up because I'm in control of them. Who wants to do a bit? I'll do the first one. Average points for the top four have been 72 points. If we beat Arsenal, we'll be halfway there to that total, and we've had a poor half of the season. Good talking point there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about the average points because it varies season to season what's required. You can't really compare one season to another. I'm probably looking at double the points each team's got already. That's probably a better gauge.
Yeah. Okay, then we have Moondog. So this is going back to a conversation about half an hour ago when we were talking about where we'd finish. But Ben's looking high, but also trying to be Moondog trying to be looking high, but trying to be realistic. And the truth,
football isn't about realism; it's about being deluded.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And we are, honestly, we are Premier League champions of that, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Can I just say something very, very quickly? I just want to add a point to that. I've been following Tottenham now for 40 odd years. I'm 45 next month, so 41 years. I was 4 when I went to my first Tottenham game. I've seen us win a lot of things, and a lot of these younger fans have not seen this win. All they've seen is us not play very well. The Sugar years, the Enoch years. One trophy since 2008. So I understand where some fans are a bit deluded, think we're going to win the league, we're going to do this for Conte. I think a lot of fans just have to be realistic. I understand we can all be optimistic, we're going to do this and that, but I think you also have to be a little bit realistic. Rome wasn't built in a day. It's going to take time. All the great teams
took a couple of transfer windows, so next season. Glad you agree.
All we've got to do is wait and see what happens. If not a lot happens this month, let's not get on everyone's back. It's the summer where we're going to have to really look at the investment. January is not the biggest transfer window. January is for putting plasters over holes. just to get you through the next part, the last bit of the season. The summer is where we're going to have to really see if Levy will back Conte in the summer. That's where we're going to have to really look at. I think us now, January, thinking, oh, we're going to have to buy this, buy this, buy. I think not a lot of clubs do business in January anyway. So we just have to wait and see. But let's not all get on the bandwagon that we're going to have to buy in 4 or 5 players to do this. We have to wait till the summer. That's when the main business is done. A lot of business in January can be done for the summer. So let's wait and see. And we have to be a bit patient. We have to take a bit of pain to get the game. That's how I see it. So from a Spurs fan for 41 years, that's how I look at it. So maybe I'm one of the few people that think like that, but that's just my opinion, and I apologise for that.
Don't have to apologise. That's your New Year's resolution. Don't apologise for having an opinion.
Yeah. Apologise for not having an opinion. That would be better. Right, let's go back to the comments. True Sexy Free, what a quality comment. Catching City is like giving Usain Bolt a head start in a foot race.
Yeah.
Yep.
Need a dodgy lasagna in the face. Yep.
Yeah. Follows it up with Mickey Hazard, Hair Hall of Fame candidate, nice tight yellow throw.
Yep.
Moondog, I've been watching Spurs since '67, so I've been spoiled with world-class players and some great matches. That you have, my man.
I love Chris's point.
Yeah. But you've just argued against that because you've said trust in Levy till the summer. So
no, I didn't actually. No, it's not what I said.
Don't get on everyone's back.
No, don't put words in my mouth. Don't put words. I never said about that. I said you have to be patient. Paratici cannot work miracles in 1 month. It was a Paratici I was talking about. Give him a chance. Okay.
So
don't get
Paratici. There we go.
I'm leaving out, so don't put words in my mouth, Chris.
No, I'm not saying that, but
I never said Levy. I wasn't saying that.
Fans, you're right. We all realistically want 5 world-class signings in January. We're going to be lucky to get 2, but the summer's the big one. But he's still got to. If Conte says he wants a player, he needs to go all out to get that player. And for me, you're looking at your Kessie and your Vlahovic. I don't care whether we sign them in January or sign them on a pre-contract for the summer. It makes no difference to me as long as they're here.
Yeah, but I want to point. I am leaving out. Always will be leaving out. It's more Paratici. I was trying to say we have
that would put a dent in the plans, though, Phil, wouldn't it? Right? If we sign 4 or 5 players on pre-contracts and they all come in June, alongside Pape, Sarr, we'll have a wonderful next season, or at least an interesting next season. But I think we'll all be disappointed if we don't have new players in the Tottenham shirt on February the 1st.
Yeah, because I'm going to pick Kessie because we know he's out of contract in the summer. So the dilemma is, for me, I'd be offering 10, 12 million to get him now because the second he signs that contract, he's already worth 40 or 50.
I agree.
But on top of that, does he want to leave AC Milan where they're potentially going to win the league to come and fight for top 4 for us? He might say, no, I'll wait until the summer.
Isn't that what he's already said? I feel like I heard someone tell me that he's already said he's happy to, like he didn't say he wants to, but he said he's happy to stay until the end of the year. But then he's out anyway, right? So what he'd be sacrificing would be a championship medal, but he wouldn't be going into the Champions League next season. He said he wants to leave, but he would obviously be sacrificing a winner's medal of the Serie A. So.
Yeah. Okay, right, I'm going to crack on. So Carl Simpson, Tanguy swap deals with Juventus players. It will happen. I would love to hear that we've swapped Tanguy with De Ligt.
I'll take Tanguy for McKennie. I think if McKennie's a quality player, he just needs to get some attitude right. But
do you want players with bad attitudes? I've had enough of bad attitude players.
No.
But if Conte wants him, we've got to go for him. Yeah. If Conte wants him, we must get him.
I'll just rip the family-sized bucket of KFC out of his hands and keep that.
Yeah,
extra gravy
or some mayonnaise or.
Yeah, absolutely. Cole Simpson saying, "I think it's because as Spurs fans we have had to put up with so much crap throughout the years with rubbish managers or players. With Conte, we're just so hyped." Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Truth Set 3, the Harris Army and TTG Army infiltrated Tottenham on tour last night. Great show. 2 Bryans, Adam, the Bun, etc. Yeah, it was fun, wasn't it? Hollywood Phil on there as well.
Hollywood Phil. Such a good nickname.
Okay, I'm going to jump out.
HP Sauce, Hollywood Phil Sauce.
Alexander Hilton. Don't tell me he works. He works to like. No, he's slightly younger, isn't he, Alex?
I think he's like 15, right?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
Okay, back to the Barcelona one. The Barcelona can find money for transfers. It's La Liga new wage cap that meant they had to get rid of their players.
Yeah.
They won an appeal against the EU against the illegal state funding. Okay.
Of course they did. They've got a million lawyers.
Yeah.
Craig Bowler comes in with, is it Bowler or Bowler? I'm not sure, but he comes in with some really interesting tidbits.
Always on point. Always on point.
Yeah. Yeah, good up, you big up, Craig.
Okay, so APB on Leo Messi. He might as well be playing on Pluto, the French league.
Yeah, shocking.
That he's only gone there for a payday, and I think given the chance, he'd go back to Barcelona in a heartbeat, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
There we go. Chris, find the clubs and ban them from competition and transfer markets.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have talked on this a lot. I just, if you're taking on big people, you need bigger people, and none come bigger than rich, expensive, owned football clubs. Sean picked that up earlier.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, we covered that one, didn't we? So
yeah.
Move on. It's difficult human side of this, but an owner who wants to spend unlimited fees to win things, I think I would take that.
This is the thing,
Fans are fickle.
Fickle and hypocrites. It's all good when it's happening to you, but not when it's happening against you,
Yeah. Oh, and then an interesting point from Craig. The case between the FA and City is still actually going on. City's lawyers managed to get a gagging order. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
I think there's only one journalist allowed to report on.
And he speaks from the Man City side of things.
And I was going to say, and I wonder who he works for.
Yeah.
It'll be the equivalent Alistair Gold for Man City, won't it?
It's the guy from The Athletic, right?
Yeah.
Thoughts
on some sort of salary cap similar to the ones in America?
The ones on America are too stringent. It stops the American league from getting any popularity, which is why all the American players come to Europe. So not as stringent, but definitely halfway there of having over a certain amount of money per week. But there's got to be a cap of some sort because it's now getting silly.
I don't think it matters if the money continues to get pumped into football at a greater rate all the time. Then the wages don't match it.
Yeah, it also, you have the difference between American sports and other sports is that America dominates. Like, there's only one country that's making the rules for NFL, for baseball, for NHL, for the hockey, right? So all those salary cap things, they also are part of a closed system where there's no other countries that are competing of any real note. And there's also the college system, which has, all of the draft game, right? So all of that stuff is not currently in play. In order to have a salary cap that would work in football, the very first thing you'd have to have is global adoption of the same thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if that only exists in the UK, then people would just go and play in France or Spain or Argentina if ever those leagues were big enough or there was enough money there. And the second thing is that salary caps work because they sign players for free out of the college draft system, and then they give them contracts, but usually their first contract is their lowest contract, right? So as much as the salary cap system, I mean, I would love to see a different strategy within European football. It'd be awesome to have a whole nother world of universities to take football more seriously and then have stadiums and all those things develop. But that takes 20 years to become into maturity, and you need every single different league, like I say, across the world to abide by the same system, and that's just never going to happen. So I don't think the salary cap model will ever be adopted really in the UK.
Yeah, I agree.
And the other thing, obviously, in America is if any player goes and earns any sponsorship deal or anything like that, they don't keep the money. It goes back to the franchise, doesn't it? So if
if Messi suddenly did a £10 billion deal with myself, because I'm now Hollywood Phil, he doesn't get that money. It would go to the league that they're in, wouldn't it?
Yeah, all the money Phil earns comes back to Tottenham Tantrum Gold.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, franchises £48 to.
Franchises have no loyalty. Like you look at like the San Diego Chargers just upped and moved to Los Angeles, and I think the St. Louis Rams moved to Oakland and then moved back to somewhere else. Right? Imagine if you're a fan in one of the, and also like the reason why the college game in America in NFL is so huge is because there's 50 states in America. There's only 32 teams, and maybe 3 or 4 states have got 3 or 4 teams playing within the state. So like about 35 states in America don't have a national, like an NFL football team represented, which is why those states have to go to their college game. And also those teams that are there are only there because the money suits. If the money suits for them to move elsewhere, then they'll move. And that, to go into a franchise model, Tottenham fans would be furious if the Tottenham Hotspurs suddenly became the Glasgow Hotspurs if the money changed. It wouldn't work in the English world, I don't think.
No. Okay. Right, let's just do a couple of last chats before we head through. Hang on, sorry, I'm just... this is the one I was looking for you, Sean. It hasn't been proven yet. For Sean, dodgy pass, the evidence couldn't stick.
Yeah.
That's why you've been outed for money laundering. Obviously, we are all joking, guys.
We've got you now, Shawnee boy.
I like this one by Chris. That's funny. If you want to send a bribe,
sorry.
Comment of the day, I think.
I mean, a donation to the channel, please. See the link on the page.
That's a brilliant one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolute quality.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just... Oh, hang on. There we are. Archway Steel comes to mind.
Yeah, it does.
Don't know what
that was very, very dodgy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was dodgy.
yeah. Okay. Kerrion is, Barca won't be in it next year. Yeah, they might not even finish in their Champions League spots, mightn't they?
No.
Good.
The way they're
They're
going.
very low in their league now.
That Archway Steel one, the Daily Mail nicked my joke from Facebook on that. Not bad.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did they really?
I put up on our Tottenham page at the time. I put up a joke about it's no surprise it burnt down. Tottenham have been throwing matches all season, and it was there within about an hour on the Daily Mail website, and then went on the paper as well. I just people were saying, "Oh, that's like Goober's joke." Like, it was just funny. I love it when it goes viral. Something you come out with.
True sets you free. God is always watching, though. You can't get away with anything. You either spread love and peace or else. Nice. Okay. Good afternoon to Alex. Alex is in the house. And then we go back to Kerrion. No players still. Right. So that was me. No, he said no. The players still earn money from individual sponsorship deals in the US. I must have misread that. Then I thought everything went back to that. But okay, thank you. Hell, even college athletes can earn money from sponsorship deals now since the NCAA changed its rules. Again,
about time as well.
Rules.
About time they changed that. The college system in America is like literally robbery. They rob those players. They make
slavery in most
it's slavery. Yeah, it's outrageous. So thank God those kids can start earning some cash.
And then just on the same theme, California and Florida have 6 NFL teams alone.
Yeah,
they had 7, but they just sold the Oakland Raiders. Weren't they LA Raiders when I was young?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they went back to LA, then they went to Oakland, then they went back to LA, and now they're in Las Vegas. Yeah.
So basically, you're almost selling the brand name, yeah. So would that be literally like Tottenham have been bought by Glasgow, so now we're Tottenham Rangers, yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, no, it would be Glasgow Hotspur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rangers, dirty word. Rangers, very dirty word.
Yeah. And then
wash your mouth out with soap and water now, Phil. Rangers, very dirty word.
Okay, City 53, Liverpool 45, Chelsea 43, Tottenham 42, Man U 40, Chelsea, Arsenal 38, West Ham 37. The top 7 teams played their games in hand. Doesn't include teams if they played each other. Okay, interesting.
Is he saying if all the teams with their games in hand won all of their games? Is that what he's suggesting?
Yeah, I guess, and I guess unless they're playing each other,
and then it's a draw or something.
Yeah. And then just the last question from Alex: who's the Daily Mail person here?
Not me.
It'll be Ben.
I'm not. Daily Mail was no. I can afford toilet roll.
I just got a quick comment to bring up here.
Nice.
We put a link up on Twitter to say about our shows every day and every evening, just to take people in it. And I didn't tag this person into it, but a certain Gary Stevens has liked our show.
Wow. Did you see he's following me now? He went, thank you, Big Dog Hollywood, Adele's new husband.
No, he didn't say that, Phil, because you sent me the picture last night. All he said was thank you.
It's been an honor. It's honestly an honor to get to know you. And
I'm sorry, this fella's getting too much now. I just have to take him off now. He's getting too big for.
God, get rid of Hollywood, Phil. HP sauce, no more.
Yeah. No, I saw what you said. It was he said, "Thank you, Hollywood, Phil. Can you get me some tickets for the Oscars next in February? Because you're such a big head now." That's what he said. But
Love
Phil,
that.
you know
Phil
where your
tries
roots
to
are.
drop a little bit of name dropping, a bit of comments. He elaborates a little bit on the story. Dermot's immediately there to cut it down. That didn't happen, Phil.
Can I just say, Phil knows where his roots is, don't you, Phil?
Yeah, in Hollywood.
What do you reckon?
Changing my roots.
With Adele and Betty Rubble.
What do you think we should do, Coover? With this fella, the Hollywood fella.
I think he's just out of our sphere now, isn't he? He's another level.
Don't punish him too hard. He'll walk and never come back.
We'll have to get Adele to get that restraining order, and then perhaps he'll come crawling back then.
Chris, if you're watching, contracts are ready to sign. Chris, if you're watching, the contracts are ready to sign. But you're not getting your golden. You're stuck here, Phil, until the end of your contract, which is about 100 years.
Craig saying that's why I didn't get the idea of protesting when the NFL was playing at the stadium with their owners' conduct in America. Kroenke didn't batter an eyelid moving the Rams to the West Coast.
Just a quick question: if are you getting busy there, Ben?
I'm about to.
Yeah, well, if you want to pop off, we'll probably be on for another few minutes. So if you need to pop off, you can do.
I will do. All right. Cheers, lads.
You're being allowed to.
Cheers, Benny.
Cheers, Ben.
See you in the morning, Ben.
You've got
Bye-bye.
permission to go.
Service. Cheers, lad.
Thank you for your service. Yeah. Yeah, I think we might wrap it up there ourselves.
Yeah, we got anything to say about Ben? I didn't agree with his comments. Who's brought him on? Oh, Jesus.
You leave our Ben alone. Me and Coover like Ben. You're
loyal Ben, you mean? Loyal Ben. Ben who's loyal as a dog.
I thought you said oil Ben there. I was wondering what.
Well, at least Ben doesn't go to Hollywood and just.
Loyal Ben is always around. He's always there.
He remembers his roots. I miss Ben.
Right.
Bradley.
Right. Are we back tonight at 5:30, lads?
Up to you, mate. You up for it? That'll be a yes then.
And
we'll find something.
Yeah.
Yeah, bit of a lack of Chelsea footage at the moment. So
we might do that Chelsea battle of the lane. Tottenham, Chelsea, 74-75. Whoever loses goes
in
down.
In anticipation of a bit of violence.
Yeah.
Or whether we do an open house and just, bring some guests on. Possibly a bit like Brian did last night. Just a little bit of a chat. We could do some questions, answers and stuff.
Well, we'll do that instead, actually, because we won't be doing the 5:30 show on Wednesday because we're doing the watch along. So we'll be starting that at 7:30 or 7:15 because it's 7:45 kickoff. So yeah, we're doing an open house tonight. We do sort of like a fan show tonight. We do
and hottest film characters.
Yeah. Now, hang on, is it Monday? Dave's on tonight, isn't he?
Usually they do the phone call in, don't they?
Yeah.
But that doesn't stop us being here for 5:30.
No, it doesn't.
Sean's just jumped ship quickly.
Sean's flopped.
Yeah. He heard Dave mentioned, and he's quickly jumped.
He's hiding.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah, I think we'll go with Phil's idea. Hollywood's Phil now is trying to bring us to the next level.
Hollywood legend test.
Lazy 8 saying here. Love to see Battle of the Lane. Only heard of it, never seen. So we could always put that in the background. Just have a bit of random football violence, get in the mood for Chelsea.
Yeah, I know he's back again. As soon as somebody said Battle of the Lane, he came back. Right.
I don't know what happened.
All I'm going to say is thank you to Kauffie and Phil for starting the show. I apologise again for being half an hour late. Thank you for Sean for coming on. Hopefully you might pop back on tonight, Sean. You're more than welcome.
More than likely.
Thank you, Ben, who's now gone off to make more coffee. And thank you, everyone who's computed, commented, and everything. So that's what we'll do tonight. We're back at 5:30 with me, Kauffie, Big Dog Phil, and Shawnee Boy from.
I might be
Sports.
no promises. I've got to make some work stuff. If I can,
just very quickly, where can people find you, Sean?
Spurs Talk Show. I'm pretty sure most people that have on your channel are the ones that have subscribed. So I'm very grateful to everyone. If there is anyone that's watching that hasn't subscribed, I'm up to 85 now. So I'm chasing down a few of the other channels that
you're chasing down Alex. It's a race between you and Alex.
Alex, yeah.
just a little big up to Phil here as well. He's changed his name back to something quite good, I think.
Hollywood legend.
Right. And Phil, where can people find you, sir?
Well, I've got my new show on. We Are Tottenham TV on every. No, I'm not. They can find me clearly here. I will be on in the evenings. Obviously, I'm back to work tomorrow, so no coffee morning for me. But yeah, and obviously along with Rez, Josh, and Chris on the 4 Hotspurs.
Are you starting that back again Friday?
I'm not sure where we are with that at the moment, but obviously we're still a big part of that.
Okay. And my usual co-host, Kauffie, where can people find you, sir?
Yeah, probably. If I have to. I mean, I'll try and follow in Phil's footsteps, but who can manage that? The red carpet's been used, the champagne's been drunk, there's nothing left of the likes of us. No, just dotted around the channels. I mean, favourites apart from here, obviously, the Irish Hotspur, Spurs Asian, THFC Rants, the two Brians up at Tottenham on tour, Paxton Road, you name it. Just list out anything Spurs with in the title or something related. It's a good chance I'll be on there at some point.
Can you guys come onto my channel at some point? I need to get my number.
Yes,
sure,
definitely. Let's go over that now. Carry on.
Yeah. The Tree Sets Free says St. Dermot, what's your favourite number? My favourite number is 14. That's my favourite number.
Why?
Why?
Oh, why?
It was always the lucky number I had on roulette. I used to do 4 numbers: 8, 10, 23, 14.
Nice.
So
I didn't know there was such a thing as a lucky number on roulette. I lost so much money on roulette in my life. Most of them, all 37 of them, are unlucky.
I was stuck in Birmingham one night. It's a true story. And I went into a casino and I won €500 on the slot machines.
Nice.
So I thought, right, I put 300 that way and I've gone roulette for 200. So I put everything on 14 and I didn't realise all my €200 was on 14. And by the time I realised I couldn't take the chips off because the ball was already going around the thing, I'm looking there thinking, I've just lost, kicking myself because I've just lost 200 quid. Took no notice of the roulette wheel. What did the ball land on? 14. So I've got a straight, I've got corners, I won a lot of money that night. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all at the casino.
Yeah. So. Tree Sets Free. I will send you my address privately on the chat. Chat to me. Send me your number if you're on WhatsApp. We add you onto the WhatsApp group, and I'll send you my address on there. So, my cousin says thanks, lads, we'll tune in later. And Josh is saying, afternoon, you magnificent beats.
Literally, as we're about to go off air as well.
Yeah.
Oh, just want to quickly shout that man out. I jumped on his. I jumped onto his charity thing because I think you guys were talking about it. I don't know Josh, but I saw him get his legs waxed, and then I think an hour later he had to get his hair shaved. It was. I think I tuned in for the peak viewing time. It was great. Congratulations on your show, mate. Well done on your effort. It was very cool.
Just a quick update, Josh. Are you doing the full Hotspurs? Are you doing the full Hotspurs on Friday? Just let us know so we can plug the show. Just wait for a few. See if he brings it up. So we all know. So we can plug the show.
Truth, that's where he's on the wind up already.
Yeah.
All right.
You never, ever, 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 ever beat the Irish. Hello, back again.
Josh says yes, he will.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. I should be, yes. Okay, well, everyone get over before. Everyone get over to
Big
the
up, Tottenham. Good show, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for watching. And the famous last words is, you'll never beat the Irish.
When the Spurs go marching in, oh, when the Spurs go marching in, oh,